So I have a recap. I wrote down a bunch of stuff. Like I said, I watched the recording yesterday a little bit. So I'm not going to rely. I don't trust anybody to remember 2 months ago very vividly. Um, but let's see, what do I have written down here? So Nero did some research on how Kantara could be turned into some sort of a protectorate state under Cheliax using old pre-Thrune Cheliax law. He found basically how to make a legal framework for some sort of a vassal state where you guys could be sort of independent, but basically a vassal under Thrune somehow. And through that, and through his talks with Iwen, and through his talks with Zane and a bunch of other people, he believes that that would hold water. Like in the courts of Agorian, that would hold water and at least slow them down. Like Thrune would not legally be able to ransack the town, as is his greatest fear. You guys got drunk with Sergeant Sheen and talked about his scouting and what he was doing. And he basically explained to you that they didn't find anything, that they had no idea what was going on, that they're on these wild goose hunts for these loyalists that no one could find. But that Oppian did seem excited recently, and he basically was saying that a bunch of patrols were coming back in and they were going to leave as early as the next morning. So you guys got him drunk, got him talking, and got a little bit of information out of him. The next day, Nero called an emergency town council meeting because he's a town council member because you guys got him elected. So the group went around and got a bunch of the interested parties, got all the other council members alert, and you guys, I think Iwen went to see the halflings or sent somebody to go get the halflings, make sure a bunch of halfling people were there. And when the meeting started, the people were all shouting even before the meeting had begun, where's Calcyra? Because she's went missing the night before and wasn't showing up to the meeting. So they were all shouting, like, where is the sixth voice? What's going on? Where is she? And Oppian did his best to basically explain that she's a wanderer. She does this from time to time. Like, we don't know where she is, blah, blah, blah. And although you guys know that she's been murdered and desecrated and buried somewhere, no one else does. No one seems to know that, and Oppian isn't. If Oppian does, he's not letting on. So he's just considering her missing. So he tried to push that the council shouldn't decide on anything major until she returns, until you have the full six council members. But Nero convinced the crowd to support the idea that, the crowd could just be the sixth member, and if we have a tie, then I guess we'll postpone that. Oppian was resistant to that, but you got most of the council members and most of the public on your side, so begrudgingly Oppian accepted, fine, we'll have the council meeting as normal today without Calcyra present. So after being a little grumpy about that, he actually got a little puffed up in his chest when he announced that Sonara had fallen to the Glorious Reclamation. So the big town, the one that Archbaron Fex told you about a long time ago, it was being sieged by the Glorious Reclamation, and all the other lords and nobles were sending their knights and their troops up to defend Sonara to do the best they could. But it has officially fallen to the Glorious Reclamation. He initially said this is good news because now the Glorious Reclamation owns a big swath of contiguous land in northern Cheliax, and that all of these trade lines and support lines are now going to be opened, and that all these troops that were going to attack Sonara can now, some of them are going to come back to reinforce, and they're basically going to have nice holdings in the northern Cheliax. Nero kind of saw it the other way, saying, hey, where do you think all the knights in Sonara will go now? Like, where do you think is going to happen? Like, you've driven them out, they've left the town. They're probably going to come someplace like here, which isn't very well defended, stuff like that. So he was spinning Oppian's good news into bad news. And the crowd was agreeing with him, for the most part. And stop me if you want to add anything. If you have any specific memories anywhere along the line, let me know. So Oppian did this, and he was expecting this big, everybody to be really excited that, the Glorious Reclamation is finally winning, we're advancing this war. But the crowd was mostly unmoved, and if not even more scared by what Nero was saying. Like, some noble is going to get 100 men on horseback and be here within the week. Like, this is something to greatly, be concerned about. And then Nero announced his findings about the Protectorate, referencing Zane's research. Zane was not at the meeting, but he did reference Zane's research. And the whole overarching goal was he thinks he can keep the town safe bloodlessly by tying Thrune's hands in laws, like a Hellforged contract that they could not get around, that they could not get out of. This sort of thing could, at the very least, stop the bloodshed and allow this town to move on from this horrible, bloody chapter in its history. Oppian is steadfastly, vehemently opposed to this idea. When he hears you even, first off, when you bring it up, he acts as if Zane has already talked to him about it a little bit. And he says, this is insane, there can be no contract with hell. If they can find a way to pervert, subvert, or change this contract, they will, and, they'll be here soon enough. That this is only gonna, if not anything else, it'll buy them time before they can twist our arm and destroy us. So Appian also argues that Cantaria is of little strategic value, and that now that all these other conquests have happened in northern Cheliax, that it's not even one of the first things that Thrune is likely to attack. But Nero brought up that this is a very important place for the faith, for the Cantaria is the seat of Iomedes' faith, and if they wanted a symbolic victory, they'd come here and they'd crush this place. They would just grind it into dirt. They'd rip it down to the ground if they had to, just to kind of kick the crap out of the movement. Nero said, if they are coming, the law is the only thing that will stop them. After after Appian was trying to say, these laws, they'll find a way to get around it. Nero basically said, if they want to come here, a legally binding contract that can be defended in their courts is the only thing that could stop them. Period. Zane again was not at the meeting, but in talks with Nero and some other people, I think Iwan was there. He seems kind of on the fence. He seems tentatively like this could work. He did a little bit of research on his own to kind of agree, this seems like this legal framework does have some footing here, but he does seem a little reluctant. Just like Appian, he's not sure that you can trust Thrune to not pervert the agreement to their benefit. So you talk about that for a while, and you didn't force a vote immediately. You just kind of announced it, and then Appian was again bolstered by the fact he had some more news that he wanted to talk about, and Nero kind of gave him the floor. So he announced that the loyalists had been found in the forest, that some servants of Iomedae, his troops didn't find them, but some angelic help had identified where they were in the forest, and that they were led by Zara Orsolani, the Hell Knight, that was freed from the Hardship's Hearth, and also a servant of Moloch, which they didn't know the name of. He announced that he had plans to send a large detachment to deal with them once and for all, that he was looking for volunteers, for militia members, things like that, to just go up to the north to where they knew they were in the forest, about a day and a half away in the forest, so that they could go there and just crush them once and for all and be done with this rebellion. Nero interjects, explaining that he had been working on brokering a peace with these people, that independently of the council, he was working to try to talking with Zara and some other people, some intermediaries, to try to see if they could be brought back into town, if they would lay down their arms and you could start something, you could build something on this, you could invite them back in and then make this part of the beginning of a new lasting peace. He said things like the people in the forest, they've been driven from their homes, they've run out of town, some of them have been attacked, some of them family have been killed, and bringing them back in peacefully could be the basis for something bigger going forward. Nero argued very well, and at times Appian seemed to entertain the idea for the briefest of moments, but at his core, he couldn't reconcile the idea that these people, they attacked the sword tower, they slain a bunch of glorious reclamation guards. They're supporting an evil regime in his mind. They're supporting people who are aligned with hell. They are the allies of devils, and he can't. In his mind, he can't get there. So, but the people seem to be on Nero's side. They know these people. These are people they worked with, people they lived in town with. So it seems these are people they know that are in the forest doing what they think is right. So at that point, Nero moves for a vote to cease hostilities to the loyalists. And Janna seconds the vote, and Appian is just visibly furious that this is even happening to him. So the council, other than Appian, unanimously votes yes to extend peace to the loyalists. So everybody, Loredana was a little on the fence. She wavered for a moment, but she decided to go, peace is better than no peace. And you have Linton in your pocket. Linton is basically constantly looking at Nero during all these votes and seeing which way Nero would like him to vote. And they unanimously vote yes. Appian is furious because he basically wanted to go stomp them. And during this time, Iwan and Vors are working on goading the crowd along, making it clear that they agree with Nero, kind of poking why can't we invite them back? What's going on? Why is Appian so adamant about crushing these people? What does he have to hide? Kind of just poking the crowd and kind of goading them along the whole time. Once that vote goes his way, Nero kind of seizes the moment and builds on his momentum, and he immediately motions for a vote on the protectorate status that he was discussing earlier. Linton immediately seconds the vote. Loredana and Appian vote no, and the sixth vote goes to the people. Was it Loredana or was it Janna that voted no? I think we'll go with Loredana. Loredana and Appian voted no, so it was a tie, and the sixth vote went to the people. And the people voted yes. Through all the goading, Iwan and Vors were in the crowd kind of poking them, and Nero's persuasive arguments from the podium. He basically convinced the people that this is the way to go. If you want to have the least amount of blood on your hands, if you don't want to get overrun by knights within the week or within the month, you need to do something that can stop Cheliax, that can stop Thrune. So the people voted yes, and Oppian storms out, visibly furious, without even officially closing the town council meeting. Nero was calling after him the whole time, saying, "Hey, there was more to discuss," and Oppian just shouted back over his shoulder, "There is nothing more to discuss," and kind of threw his cape up dramatically, and all the sergeants and sword knights came with him, and he kind of left, and they stormed off to the fastness. Iwan and Vors were, again, just kept poking and prodding people. I was like, is this guy even capable of governing anymore? What's going on? Like, there was more to talk about. You heard Nero. Why did he leave? He's too angry. He's too mad to lead this town. And the crowd got fairly unruly as that was going on. You guys talked some more with the town council members about what was going on, and everybody sort of agreed that they're getting concerned about Oppian and his ability to lead, but nothing was concretely decided at that point. After the town council meeting, Vors talked to Linton a little bit, essentially saying, "If you support us and when we move against the Glorious Reclamation, we'll make sure each of you gets your own blood boy." Linton basically said, "My agents are yours. Like, I'm not going to give you information. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I'm going to help you in any way I can." And Vors suggests embedding some of his agents within the Glorious Reclamation, especially within the fastness, if possible. And he'll said he'll do his best. He'll see what he can make happen over the next couple of days. After that, Nero talked to Zane, who was not at the town council meeting, bringing up the fact that Oppian seems paranoid, that he seems to have spies everywhere, that when Nero was bringing things up during the town council meeting, Oppian kept saying, I know, as if he had people looking around or people spying on things like that. And Zane agreed, like, those angel statues that were installed in the Narcopolis Manor were basically there to spy on Zane, to make sure Zane wasn't doing anything wrong. Zane was the target of a witch hunt, in his opinion, when the Discord bottle was unleashed in the market. So everything Nero was saying was kind of hitting Zane the right way, and he was kind of agreeing. Oppian doesn't seem like he's capable of ruling anymore. He seems a little too paranoid. He seems to have lost his way, is something Zane had said. So Zane seems supportive of the idea of a little protectorate as a way to buy time for Cantaria, but overall he still is a Glorious Reclamation servant. He does want the Glorious Reclamation to win, he does want Thrune to lose, and he does want an independent Iomedean-based Cheliax. So it's iffy which way he's going to end up going, but he does seem at least supportive of the idea of the protectorate. And Nero talked to him, and he gave him the Hell Knight armor to give to Zara as a token to negotiate peace. Even though he was a little angry about it because he wanted to do some more research of exactly what the Hell Knight armor would do. During the town council meeting, Oppian did agree, before he got furious and left, he did agree that as part of the peace treaty beginning thing, you would give the Hell Knight armor to negotiate the peace. So Zane provided the armor. So while that was all happening, Nero and I think, did Iwan go with Nero to the camp at that point?
Probably. I mean, she was kind of going most times to do more lessons.
Okay. You mean with Perko, or because Perko wasn't at the camp?
Oh, okay. Well, she would probably only go to do that, so then maybe not.
Okay. So you were working with Perko, and we talked about maybe doing more in the group about that. Yeah, that's something we have to make a note to do. But at that point, Nero went to the camp, and I think Iwan went with him in the beginning, but we'll figure that out. Nero went to the camp ostensibly to negotiate the peace. Bob was already there, and Vors hung back. Vors was talking to some kids, basically getting them to spy on the Glorious Reclamation to let them know if anything seemed to be happening. And while Nero was up in the camp, he did some light healing and kind of just talking to Zara and Bob, trying to say that, hey, this is the armor. I'm here to officially negotiate peace on on behalf of the town of Cantaria. The town council voted this way, but I don't trust Oppian to honor this peace. He seemed furious that we would even consider it, and he stormed off in the middle of a town council meeting. So we should be prepared for anything. And while he was there, Vors was hanging out in Cantaria, basically keeping an eye on the Glorious Reclamation. And sure enough, he paid some children a couple silver to just kind of look around and see what was going on. And one of them ran up to him and explained that he saw a large detachment, about 20 people, was leaving the fastness, and just like in a swift, like a marching order, a swift march. And sure enough, he went over and checked it out, and it seemed like they were heading to where the rebel camp was. So, what does it say? Oppian ordered the detachment out anyway in the late afternoon. Vors bribes children, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so Vors is on horseback, so he's much faster than the foot soldiers kind of moving through the forest, especially because they have halflings with them, so they're stuck going as slow as the halflings can go. They're not forcing them to run. And during this time, Iwan gets Anselm Mathis, the Cantaria Historicum, like one of the books, the historical bookstore owner, to serve as a scribe to document what was going to happen during the town council meeting and also at the rebel camp. So you basically enticed him. He was interested in recording this little bit of history. This seems like a major interesting event for him, and it's the sort of things he loves. So he came and just served as a scribe. Like he stood out of combat and just wrote down everything that was going on. So Iwan and Nero get to the camp while Vors is hanging back on the patrol. Light healing goes around, blah, blah, blah. Zara and Bob order the Loyalists to set up in defensible positions. You have a really good... The ridges and the river made for a really nice defensible camp for you guys, and that played out pretty well in the battle. Vors said he'd use a screeching bolt when the detachment gets close enough for the battle to start commencing. And soon enough, combat erupts. They begin kind of sneaking up. And one thing that Anselm noted in his log of the battle that took place was there was no attempt to parley. It's not like they came here and announced themselves and said, "Hey, we are of the Glorious Reclamation. We're here from Cantaria." Blah blah blah. They were sneaking up, like ostensibly to murder you, to attack. Like this was not a peace offering. They were coming to crush the resistance, as Oppian had said they would. So the party slays most of the Glorious Reclamation stooges. Vors was on horseback for the first time doing mounted archery, and he just laid waste all over the place, catching people on the neck over and over and over again. Lots of heads were bashed in by all of your loyalists. Your loyalists seem to do much better in combat than all of the squires and soldiers that came with the Glorious Reclamation. And Bab el-Zub was cracking skulls and ribs all over the place. Iwan opened a pit, and then after a bunch of people fell into it, and the pit was right on the bridge, you can see there, it's still on the map. She bone shook another person into it, so someone was actually outside of it still defending themselves, and she's like, "No, I'm going to manipulate your bones like a marionette and kind of dangle you over the pit and drop you." And a bunch of them, I think water was rushing into the pit at the same time, and all this horrible stuff was happening. The bunyip tore into two people who fell while crossing the river. They were trying to come in from the northwest, or sorry, the northeast over there, and they actually fell. Some of them rolled down the waterfall, and the bunyip kind of smelled their blood and got into that. Nero summoned eagles to deal with halfling slingers that were hanging out in the trees, and they just started clawing at the poor little halfling's eyes. Nero also used command to make the angel Cassiel descend while crossing the river, so he was coming up, and Nero ordered him, "Nick, you come down, get down on the ground, bow on the ground." And he did, and that gave enough time for Zara, Bob, and a bunch of the other, loyalists to kind of get on top of the angel and just hack away at it. And as it was flying away, like I had mentioned earlier, it tried to fly away to run away, and I think Vors caught it with some more arrows, and it was just enough to knock it down. It plummeted into the water, where the bunyip was very happy to receive it. So the bunyip started tearing away at its angel flesh, which was resistant. And then Bob was wrestling with the bunyip, trying to rip the angel out of the water. And Vors was helping him, trying to get him, but he couldn't pull it off. He kept rolling fours and kept struggling with the bunyip. And eventually Vors just pushed him out of the way when he rolled a natural 20 and grabbed it himself. And after that, Vors skinned the angel. And that's, I think, where we left off. So, Vors skinned the angel. And we did some talking on the Google group. Iwan talked to the scribe, Anselm, a bunch. And she went over his notes. And his notes were basically, they were pretty comprehensive. They were very dry. They weren't like an overarching narrative. They were mostly just like facts, bullet points. And after reading it, she kind of convinced him into tinging them a little bit to make the Glorious Reclamation look a little worse. Like I said before, they didn't come to parlay. It was very obvious they were sneaking up on us, trying to get the jump on us. All these things. If they wanted to talk, they would have said something. They would have called out at some point in the battle. They would have announced their intentions. Like they didn't surrender. All of these things, kind of just tinging the story to be these are bad people who came here for bad reasons, not to make the peace that we talked about in the council. And throughout this conversation, he agreed, and he was kind of changing his records just a little bit to make it seem a little worse for them. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything I have. Did I miss anything, or did anybody want to note anything else that happened?
That was pretty good.
Hooray.
Thanks for that.
No problem.
Good write-up, dude.
Yeah, it was a lot. But yeah, so that's how it went down. And things have now calmed down. And like I said before, you have only 4 survivors. I did look around. Everybody else is straight up dead. I think a lot of the stabilization that went around was your own people. Like a lot of the loyalists were bleeding to death, and I don't think you lost a single one of them.
I would have went there first, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let me see if there's any. Did any of your team die? 1 Thrune loyalist. Thrune loyalist 1 is dead.
Oh.
So you lost 1 person. They lost like 20 people. But you do have 4 survivors. You have 1 Glorious Reclamation Squire, which is like the lowest rank thing you have. You have no actual officers here. You have 2 militia volunteers, which are basically townsfolk that picked up weapons and agreed to come here to stop the rebellion. And 1 halfling slinger. And they're all critically injured and unconscious. And you have to decide what to do with them.
Did anybody? Well, actually, we wouldn't know if anyone escaped. Because if we did know, then Vors would be on horseback running them down.
Correct. You did not see anybody. You did not detect anybody escaping.
Also, for future reference, if you'd like to have any officer-like survivors in the future, Vors can not target them first.
They need to go down fast.
Yeah.
So Nero was in favor of keeping them all alive, putting them in a cart, taking them into town, having them stand trial, and using them as legal leverage.
What do you mean legal leverage?
We voted on a legally enforceable peace. Though they were just following orders, they followed orders that violate a legal order for peace. They're in violation of the law.
Okay, yeah.
So they shouldn't be held, like, they should not be found guilty, but the commanding officers should be.
I think they'd serve more as witnesses, yeah.
Yeah. And we'd make that clear to them, saying like, hey, we know you're just following orders. They no hard feelings. And yeah.
So you're saying we're basically going to use them to make sure that their like superiors are further tainted. Is that kind of the idea?
Actually, like indicted, and
yeah.
So.
Okay, I can get on board with that.
Okay, so we need to.
What are we doing with the dead?
Bunyip.
Bunyip's gotta eat.
Loot them, pile them. The bunyips gorging already. Loot them, pile them up, and let's take them back to town. Show them what happens when you break a legal contract. Can you think of a better spectacle than that?
No, that was what I was going to suggest too. That cart, is that what we're like? Does that have anything in it? Is that what we're going to use to take all the bodies back?
That still has all the ore in it.
Yes, it does. You need to dump it.
That's fine.
Yeah. Bob, how do you feel about this?
I mean, as long as the bunyip is going to come back to the town with us, it's fine.
How's it going to go back to the town? It lives in water. It's an aquatic creature.
I carried it around for like 3 weeks, so.
And it was unconscious for most of the time.
Wait. I would presume that this stream
Mhm.
would feed into the what is it? Is that the Adivian River or no? Whatever river that is next to Cantaria.
The Sedna River.
Is that the Sedna?
I believe it's the Sedna River. That's where the halflings were anyway. The banks of the Sedna River.
Yeah. So presumably
He'll
it feeds
he'll
into
be
the
useless
Sedna.
on land. He's useful here because there's water. He'll be useless on land.
No, but like we can bring him down to the docks. He'll be fine. He'll be fine at the docks. We can
And chain him up
pay,
like a dog?
No, we just,
Yeah.
like, we just have to incentivize him to stick around. So like we can. So like if we just keep throwing him scraps like down at the dock or hire I can't remember his name, the dock master.
Jonas.
We can just hire the dock master to make sure he keeps getting fed so he doesn't want to stray.
Fine, if we can get him in a cage down there, I don't care. But we need to move
No,
on
actually,
this.
you know what? That's a better idea because if he's hungry, then we can use him. We can weaponize him.
There you go.
All right. Yeah. So you're gonna.
So,
So when you go back, you're gonna basically follow the river back and make sure the bunyip is following you the whole time.
Yes.
I mean, how can we do that realistically? It doesn't follow
I don't
orders,
think
does
we
it?
can.
It does. It does not.
Can we?
no.
I mean, I guess you could cut off pieces of flesh as you go and just toss it in front. Just create a trail that he follows. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this
Yeah,
out.
I'm not saying we abandon the creature. I'm saying that we leave the creature here. I don't think it'll be useful in town.
Joe, can he get past some of these waterfalls and stuff, or is he kind of stuck where he is?
He can move.
It's
around.
like a seal.
Yeah, he's like a seal. He can get around a little bit, and he can pull himself onto land. He just moves very slow when he does.
All right.
Can I just wear him like a backpack and get him unconscious again?
He might bite you. I mean, he's you fed him a bunch of times, and he's not outwardly hostile towards you. But he's a horrible monster. I assure you of this. He's a horrible monster with animal intelligence. He doesn't understand friends and things like that. So
I think the next time we level up, you need to spec in one level into Ranger, so that
Yeah, at my druid level.
you
yeah.
trade. You
All right.
trade your super
Fine,
weapon
I
in
guess
for
we
a
can-
companion and take him.
Yeah. I guess we could just leave him here. Fine, whatever.
Okay.
Boris will find him later. Don't worry.
How do you feel about leaving these 4 people alive like the party has agreed to do?
I mean, I'm not into it, but if Nero says so.
Okay. Well, Zara's into it, for the record, if anybody cares about her opinion. She agrees with Nero's idea to use them as witnesses to them violating a lawfully negotiated contract that the town council has agreed upon. That they were obviously sent here to do something horrible under orders from Oppian, and that this would be a good way to unseat him. This would be a good way to prove his deceptiveness, duplicitousness. All right. So yeah, you got them. So what's the plan then? You have all these bodies, so you're gonna leave them here for the bunyip in the water?
How many bodies are there?
Many. Let me see.
And does the bunyip acquire any sort of powers by eating the angel?
No. And it didn't really eat it. It just tore at its flesh a bunch. But angel flesh is actually resistant to a lot of wounds, so it didn't do a whole lot of damage to the thrashing.
No, but what about what if the angel's dead and we leave it in the water for the bunyip?
I don't think so. I could check, but I don't believe it gets any special abilities from doing that. But it would be able to eat the angel. The angel does have meat.
Yeah, and it doesn't have skin at this point. So
Correct. It's easy access to the meat. Yeah.
yeah.
So there is the 6th Sword Knight Ramgadar. He's a corpse. That's 1. You have 1 sergeant. That's 2. 3 sergeants totals, and 4 squires. So you're at 9 already. You have 3 dead slingers. That's 12. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 militia volunteers. So you're at 18 dead people.
I mean, I think we should take the generals and any of the higher ups that are more recognizable, and then a representative sample of the rest, right?
The slingers are small. I'd like to take them. Any recognizable townsfolk, and then whatever you want in terms of the generals is fine by me.
Yeah.
Joe, does this river feed into go down lead down to the town?
I'll say yes. Yes.
All right. Can we just like barge them in? Will that be easier
Do you
than
have a
carrying
barge
them?
yet? Can you create a barge out of the cart?
The barge.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, if we're making a barge, I have to assume there's like blood falling into the water and the bunny.
The bunyip will
Yep.
follow the blood barge.
Like I was thinking we'd take the cart and just run back to town. Just run straight back. Well,
Alright.
well, I guess what should be faster. I think that making a barge is going to eat up time.
Correct. Yeah,
I think we need to move fast on this.
Yeah,
yeah. It's gonna
Was
start.
there-
It's gonna stink.
let's
soon.
let's just take the cart.
Okay. And I think, did we go over the loot yet last time or no?
I don't remember.
No.
Let's just see if any of the, like, all the militia volunteers don't have anything of note. Like, we can add it up later. Let's see. Does anybody, where are, like, actual things that matter? So the angel, did the angel have any treasure? No, standard. I have to roll something for that. Great. Where are, so the sergeants have this. There were 3 of them.
Presumably, Boars would be holding on to the angel's stuff since you skinned him.
I'll roll something for the angel in a second. Here is the 6th sword knight, Ramgadars. Oh, miniature shield other. That's cool. And what else? What else was... Is that the sergeants and him? I thought there was something else that was interesting. Squire, sergeant. Yeah, the squires. What do the squires have? Do squires have even less than that? Okay. So if there's anything you want from that, let me know. And I'll just make a note that 3 ex-sergeants... And how many dead squires did I say? 4 squires. In case anybody else wants loot. So if you want something, let me know. Type it in the thing, and you can have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Take the potions, crunchy types.
Yeah. So there's 3 potions of cure moderate wounds. Who wants them? People are taking them. Yes.
I mean, Bob should take one.
All right.
Well, I mean, but I'm the one usually dying.
Exactly. Isn't it a potion?
Yeah.
Right, but I can't. If I'm like unconscious, I can't pour a potion in my own mouth.
True, but if you're up, you can still do one, and if you're down, Nero can heal you anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take one.
And Vor should take one too.
Okay.
Take what?
Potion
Anyone
of
who can't
moderate
heal
wounds.
themselves should take. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll take the 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, take it. You're the most mobile anyway.
There you go. Boom, boom, boom.
Oops.
The +1 breastplate,
Boris?
is that good enough, or does anybody need that, or
I think Bob already has
Bob
one.
has that? Yeah.
Boars doesn't like.
The burst plate.
Okay. That's pretty much
So
it.
we'll just loot it and store it and go back.
All right.
What about the angel?
Oh, yeah, I have to roll something. Do loot on group and the angel. Pathfinder treasure generator. Do it. Boom. Boom. This is a different one. That's not the one I usually use.
Does do loot on group normally do a thing?
No.
No, that's just a note for him.
You butt.
I don't know what kind of shit you have in here.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
He runs the Giamatti macro after we've done everything,
It's
and it
the
looks for
best.
stuff like that.
We are level. Giamatti. Paul Giamatti.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It is an outsider. Ba-boomba. Yep. All right. The angel had some stuff. The angel had a potion of pass without trace, a scroll of detect magic. That doesn't seem worthwhile. Yeah,
I think Boars would probably take the bullseye lantern too,
sure.
just because I don't think he doesn't have one.
And a masterwork dart.
Ooh, junk.
Yeah, I know, right?
What is it?
A masterwork dart. It's a dart you throw at people, and it has +1 to hit.
My friend's character was a dart thrower, so a blind dart thrower at that.
That's true. All right, and
Boars will
And
take
some money.
Boars will take the pass without trace, but
okay.
Okay, so let's load them up. Let's get back to town.
All right.
As we're walking back to town, Nero's going to start laying out like we need to gather the council members, except Appian now, so that they know about what happened. You get Linton, you get what's her face will stop by and get Loredana, and we'll just all meet at, say, the Sweetest Drop or Linton's place and discuss this. We have to go meet with Zane today before word of this gets out as well.
Okay,
Zane is the only person in town I'm worried about. I think if we had to siege the Holdfast or take the Holdfast, I'm not worried about it. If Zane's still in play, it's a whole different ballgame if we don't have him on our side. If we don't have him at least abstaining from fighting.
Mhm.
I don't want to fight him, but if we need to take him together and take him fast.
who, Zane or Robbie?
Yes, Zane.
Do you think we can? Maybe be helpful.
I think we go see him. I think we go see him together. I think I try to talk reason to him. And if it goes south, it goes south. But we need to get ahead of this.
Oh yeah, I think it'd be nice to have him on our side, just so we can like have him to deal with like the spectral like hounds and stuff.
I don't think he'll help us, but I think we can make it so he might not hinder us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
He'd
never
be
know.
too much of a wild card to have there. Like, if we're actually doing something, it'd be better just to have him be looking the other way and just not there, probably.
All right.
As a quick aside, did we talk at all about like where we think that we're gonna have these guys buried? The bodies that we're taking.
What? Yeah. What are the customs in Cantaria for a warrior's death?
They bury in Cantaria. There's a bunch of graveyards and stuff in the town. I don't know about any honors. Like, Nero would know best about the religious honors if these were actually... If you cared about the Iomedean rites, Nero would know.
Is there a graveyard that's like anywhere near the Holdfast?
The Holdfast itself is a graveyard. The last time Iowan and Nero were there, when you went into the main courtyard, the entire courtyard used to be a graveyard with individual grave markers, and they since done away with that and have one large sword in the ground in the middle in a fountain, which honors all of the honored dead there. There are lots of like famous knights and other dead throughout that courtyard. Just buried.
Okay.
So it's just like catacombs then, like underneath.
No,
the
just buried in the dirt outside in the courtyard.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Well, that's where Iwan will recommend they go.
Any objections? So you're going to take all the corpses on the wagon too?
Where are we taking him to?
Well,
To-
that one's inside the courtyard of the fastness, inside the walls. If you
Yeah,
want another
so-
graveyard in town, you can. There's also other ones like that, but if you want to bring them in there, you have to bring them into the courtyard.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
definitely press
ahead.
that point and say that Oppian is then preventing us from providing like the proper like for these people. So if we push ahead on that, like we either get Oppian to open up the gates, or he is being disrespectful to his own men's deaths. Win-win.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't have any objection to that, but yeah.
Okay.
What's the move?
So, Bob, do you and Zara, are you going back to town now too?
Yeah.
Okay. And are all the loyalists coming? Or are you leaving any at the camp?
Um,
We lost him. He quit. That decision was too hard for him.
We'll just leave a skeleton crew with the loot, yeah?
Like guarding the ore that you dumped out somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
What happens when Iwan's pits disappear?
They just come back up. They're not actual holes. They're extra dimensional space. So like it's a magic area. It's not an actual trench that's dug. And when they're done, they just pop back up.
I closed Chrome. No, I'm not going to bring them with me.
Oh, you're leaving all of them back, or are you leaving just a skeleton crew to guard the ore?
I'm going to only bring a skeleton crew with me.
Okay, how many?
4.
Okay. All right, so 4 loyalists, and they'll all be Bob loyal, and Zara,
Yeah, they will.
and Zara, and Brexter, and all of it. Brexter is deaf for 3 minutes, but I guess that's probably gone by now. I guess the angel did. What are you doing, Michael? You're like making
Sounds like a fucking chainsaw.
like a goat noise. All right. So yeah, so you guys are heading back. Is anybody going ahead, or are you all just moving as one unit?
Boris, do you want to go ahead and get people ready to meet before we get there with a pile of bodies?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll go. Like, give the word to Jana and Linton and Loredana,
I'll put some.
and let them know that. What's up?
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was basically going to tell the other, like, let the other town council members know. Oh, and what's this? Mytrop? Is he on the council now?
He is not on the council
will be.
yet.
It will be.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd basically let Mytrop know. Is that on the way back?
It's
further.
south of the town. Yeah, you have to go further down.
Oh, so that would not be on the way.
Correct.
All right. So yeah, I would go like make the rounds, stop at Loredana first because I guess we're north of the town, and then yeah, let Jana know, and then let Linton know.
Okay. So it's going to take all of you with the wagon. It's going to take about a day to get back to town, but Vor's on his horseback by himself can do it much quicker, and it only takes him, I think, 5 to 6 hours to get back to town, moving at a fast clip. And I'll mash a button. Nothing happens to Vor's on the way home, and I'm going to move you all to the map of Cantaria just because it's easier to have you.
It's a good time to get my truck.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah. So I would like Vors would, like he would not be making a big deal of it, and would tell the other council members to keep it under wraps.
Okay.
Because like we don't want to alert Oppian to what's happened.
Sure. So, Vors, when you get back to town, you notice that the streets are kind of devoid of people. There are very few people milling around town, like much fewer than you're used to. But there are still some. Some merchants are still trying to sell some stuff. But I guess you're going to Little Uskwood first. So what would you do with... do you have anything to say to Loredana specifically?
So yeah, basically ask or tell Loredana that Oppian's men like came out and attacked the like the outcast unprovoked without parley, and then they were defeated soundly in the skirmish.
Loredana doesn't seem surprised. She just shakes her head and says, I feared as much when he left the council meeting in such a furor." And she shakes her head and says, I can't believe it, but it's not unexpected.
Yeah. So we're coming back. We're bringing the dead, and we plan to provide them with the proper burial in Valor's fastness.
She perks up and says, that may be difficult now. The fastness has been sealed.
Been sealed, eh? Well, where is everyone? The streets seem pretty bare.
Oh, she looks around and says, "Oh, you've been gone for about a day and a half. You don't know." And she says, shortly after the detachment left town, guards went around nailing up signs announcing a curfew in Cantaria. And she goes on to say that anybody out after dark was subject to arrest. And sure enough, they made good on their promise, and they arrested several townsfolk, and there were brawls in the streets.
There were brawls. Like, were there any deaths or just people hurt?
She says that there were deaths. People were killed in the revolts, and there was looting. There was all kinds of things. And she says, "I'm just staying here to defend defend what's mine, defend the inn."
Wow. Appian, yeah, he's an asshole. All right. Yeah, so do you have any idea, like, about the patrols? Like, what time?
She said that she hasn't seen any patrols. So it happened, like, a night and a half, well, yesterday night, or like a day and a half ago that night, because you guys left in, like, the late afternoon. That's when they announced the patrols, or the curfew. And she says she doesn't know too much because she's kind of been keeping her nose out of things, kind of trying to stay away from all this trouble going on. But she heard that Jano was furious over the announcement of this curfew, that it would basically be killing her business if no one can go walking around at night. And that she said she planned to openly defy the order, and anybody was free to come to her place after dark. And from what she heard, lots of people leaving her establishment were rounded up and arrested.
That's some bullshit.
And she said, yeah, again,
Right.
I hear she's furious about the whole thing.
All right. Or be aware of.
Sorry? I think you cut out there a second.
Anything else that I should be aware of? Like, when we got the curfew, and like, what time is the curfew, and what time is it now?
It's just after dark, so it's like there's not a set time. It's just like anybody walking the streets after dark are the subject to questioning and arrest by the Glorious Reclamation.
What if they're on official business?
And she shakes her head. The signs have no mention of that. And she says that you can find them pasted all around town if they haven't been ripped down yet. And she said there has been a fair bit of looting. After that first night, after some people were arrested, and there were some scuffles and some people were killed, there was some looting, and there's been a lot of graffiti and things like that. There's been a lot of resentment towards the Glorious Reclamation in the last day and a half.
Yeah, this is out of control. Like, Appian, like, he's taking this too far. All right, thank you. And I have to go inform the other council members of what's happened.
She nods and she reminds you of the one thing she's made you promise over and over again. Like, don't bring any of that stuff back to my inn. Like, I'm doing Fex a favor here. Things are getting a little out of hand now, and I just don't want anything to happen to me or my business here.
I think this is grown larger than a little less squid.
She smirks a bit and shakes her head. She says, "Not for me. This is all I have. This is all I want." And I didn't know the favor was going to turn out like this.
I mean, like, there are too many bodies in the fit here, Lord Donna. Don't worry, we won't come.
Fair enough. She nods.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna go talk to Linton.
All right. So I can take you to the Linton map. I'm not going to actually move your token. I'll just move you over here for fun. And I have music, right? Yeah, music. I remember how to play this game now. Right? Alchemist shop button. Hooray. Alright. Yeah, so Linton's in his shop. And there hasn't been, as you're walking through town, you do see signs of looting. Like, carts have been knocked over and destroyed. There's anti-Glorious Reclamation graffiti all over the place. And some homes have even been identified, like homes of loyal Iomedean servants, Glorious Reclamation supporters, have been, like, actually, the doors have been kicked in and there's graffiti on the thing, like, your Glorious Reclamation supporters go home, things out of Cantaria, stuff like that.
Oh, snap.
And you're seeing more anti-Glorious Reclamation stuff than pro-Glorious Reclamation stuff. There is a bit of both going on, but you're seeing a lot of evidence that the people here have had enough of the Glorious Reclamation. And when you get to Linton's shop appears to be unaffected. No one's messed with the alchemist yet.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So you get there, you open the door, and you see him tending his shop, but it's empty. No one. He has no business.
All right. Yeah. So I walk in and remove my cowl, my hood, because presumably I'd have that up so that. I mean, I'm probably very identifiable at this point in the town. But, you know.
You're not really that public of a face. I mean, you do a lot of prodding and a lot of social maneuvering, but you're not like Nero. Like, Nero is extremely identifiable. And Iwan's a gnome. You're just kind of a guy who has a phone sometimes and talks some shit.
It's the way he likes it. Alright, alright, so... yeah, I basically just informed Linton of what happened. Let him know that the death toll is high. Tell him that we're bringing back 4 survivors. And tell him, yeah, basically recant what happened and tell him that we're intending to honor the men who died basically because they were just following orders, and we'd like to basically pay respects.
Linton also doesn't seem surprised. He informs you that he did have one agent inside the fastness, and he's working on getting more, as you requested. And he says that after they left, he did hear word from his agent that that they were doing this. That Oppian was furious behind the doors of the fastness. He is furious, and he ordered these people to go out and crush the rebellion once and for all, in hopes of just establishing himself as the central power here. And he has said that in closed quarter conversations that his agent was able to overhear, Oppian was talking to Zane and some actual angels that are in the fastness, and there's some reinforcements coming. As he kind of hinted at during the last town council meeting, he's hoping to hold out long enough for reinforcements from Sonara to reach Cantaria. So he was hoping to kind of crush this rebellion, and then he would do whatever he could to kind of get all of the malcontents out of town, so that he would look presentable. He would look like a good, capable governor when the reinforcements came, when everything started to settle down. And he says apparently that's not going to be the way it went down. He had no idea what happened at your fight. He seems a little pleased. You can see him smirk as you're mentioning all the deaths. And he says, "What do you mean? You mean to honor them? How do you mean that?"
Well, the bodies are dead, and we're trying to. Oh yeah, the bodies are dead. The men died following orders. They died honorably in battle, and we would like to, basically, as a gesture of peace, try to honor their deaths by burying them where they would have been, or regardless of what sort of fight they died in. They were just following orders. It wasn't their fault. There's no dishonor there. Like the dishonor in this situation rests solely with Oppian and his higher officers who are making these decisions. So these men's bodies shouldn't be desecrated. There's no no good will come of that.
Linton nods and kind of strokes his goatee for a moment and says, "How noble of you all. But if you seek to put them the rest of the fastness," he again reiterates what Jana said. The fastness had been locked down after the rebellion, after the slayings. It seems that most of the Glorious Reclamation have kept to staying inside the fastness, and the doors have been closed. No, as far as I'm aware, from what my agent says, no one's allowed entry without an escort now.
So you're telling me that the Glorious Reclamation is going to absolutely deny a proper burial for men of theirs who died honorably? And Forge just kind of smirks.
He shrugs. He says, "This is all what I hear. I'm not sure how they would react, but from what my agent says, Oppian is seeing enemies everywhere, and I'm not sure that he would even trust that they were fully dead. He might have to send people out. I'm not sure."
Well, I don't really care much what Oppian thinks. Really, I think this will prove to the people that we're not like. Basically, this will prove to the glorious reclamation people that we are trying to like honor Cantaria, regardless of where people are from or what they believe. That these people are Cantarians and they need to be honored.
He nods. He says that will probably work. Cantaria does appear to be on your side, but the Glorious Reclamation is a military order, and Oppian is still their commander, so I can't say what will happen.
That's fine. We're just trying to sway the people.
He nods. Says that may work.
All right, cool. Yeah, then Vors takes out the non-tattooed angel skin that he's carrying around, and he's like, says to Lynn, how quickly can you tan this?
I forget what I said last time, but I'll just go ahead and say a day and a half.
All right, tan it.
Okay. Alright. Oop. Yeah, so he takes it, he immediately kind of rushes it to the back so no one gets suspicious about why there's a bunch of flayed flesh on his counter. He says, certainly, I'll be on it immediately. Is there anything else?
Do you need me to get anything for you to make that happen?
He shakes his head. No, I have all the reagents in the back. It should take little time at all.
Excellent. Yeah, I think I hid the other angel skin in Wood.
Yeah, I don't think you gave it to him yet, because that one, again, it had visible... The tattoos kind of gave it away exactly what it was, but this one is unmarked.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so we'll just do that.
Did you mention at all where you got the angel skin? He didn't seem to ask.
No, I'm not gonna.
Fair enough.
There's no reason. No reason to bring it up.
So there were two angels at the last town council meeting. Cassiel, which is the one you killed, and what was the name of the other one? It's on the town of Cantaria map. Cassiel and Gabriel. So you killed Cassiel, and Gabriel is the other one. So they were aware that angels were in the town. But he doesn't seem to know, wants to care about that knowledge. He's like, yeah, sure, I can stand that skin. That's fine.
Yeah, would he even identify it as angel skin?
That's a good question. And I hit the knowledge button and it doesn't work for him because NPCs are broken, but I'm gonna go ahead and roll d20. Yeah, he totally knows what that is. He knows what it is, he knows what it is, he knows why you would want it tanned, and he's willing to do it without asking questions.
Alright. I like Linton.
He's a good guy. Well, I mean,
All right.
a nice guy.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think Linton, and I said I'll be back. So day and a half, it's like night already.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
early
so
evening. The sun isn't down yet. Like the curfew isn't in effect just yet, but soon it will be.
All right. So, yeah. So I just tell them that I'll be back the morning that I'll be ready.
Okay.
So the day after. Yeah, the day after tomorrow.
Okay. Linton nods and says, "I'll get right on that then."
All right. So yeah, before it gets too dark, I'm gonna head over to the sweetest drop.
All right. So it's a town of Cantaria, and I'll go to the sweetest drop. Oop. Again, I'm not going to move you over, but I'm going to have the map load, and I have music for it.
Nice.
And the sweetest drop tavern, even though it's kind of late, it is still rowdy. It is still... This is one of the only businesses that seems rather unaffected by the curfew and all of the going-ons in town. People still want to get drunk, and this is still the best place to do it.
Nice.
So Jan's working the bar, and she is a little bit busy. She does have a bunch of serving wenches going around serving drinks, but she is behind the bar doing a lot of work. But when she sees you, she perks up and says, "Master Vors."
Janice said that to me?
Yes, or Baron Vors, sorry, using her title.
Oh, I was like gonna be like I didn't think we had established like the dom sub like aspect of the relationship yet. All right. So I said, Jenna. That music changed. Good. I said, yeah, Jenna, I'll have a flag and a veil, and I sit down at the bar. And basically just like I'll say, yeah. I say like, I'll have a flag and a veil, and in your ear in a quiet corner when you can.
Sure. So she's kind of making some casual conversation, going back and forth. I think she does put down your drink, but you can see that she is serving other people, and she's kind of walking around. And she says, I can't believe she can't even she can't hide her flusterness or her anger. I can't believe this curfew. Like I come on, like it will kill my business. And she's going back and forth serving. Do you see all these people? Like these people are stressed out. They need some relief. If they can't do something like this, I don't know what will happen in this town.
Is she talking to me, or is she just complaining?
She's talking to you. She's talking over her shoulder as she's going to and from the thing. Like she is serving other people, but she keeps looking back to you and just saying I can't believe they're doing this. Like this is a powder keg, and they're just putting pressure and pressure and pressure on it.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, can you at least offer these people discounted rates during the curfew, on rooms? They're hardly used anyway, right?
She nods and she says, some people have taken advantage of that. I didn't have a lot of people stay in my rooms except for, the fun reasons. But some people have been taking rooms for the night now, just so they don't have to get stuck on the streets. But a lot of people are just willing to risk it. Especially since after the scuffles, the Glorious Reclamation, their patrols seem a little scattered, few and far between.
I mean, have the people organized at all? They could go in groups themselves.
And she shrugs. She says, I haven't seen that. That hasn't been happening as far as I'm aware. But, there are talks about night of vagabonds and vandals that travel in small groups.
Do you have enough rooms for everybody that's here right now?
She shakes her head. No way. She only has 5 or 6 rooms, and there's dozens of people here right now.
All right. This isn't going to be. This won't be good.
She shrugs and she says, "No, I'm a businesswoman. I'm just doing what the town wants me to do at this point. And they want to be here. It's up to them. I'm not the one walking the streets."
Yeah, but you also want to make sure that they can be return customers.
She nods and says, "It's fair enough." But she quips, "The Glorious Commission can't lock up everyone."
Indeed. So, will you be able to stay afloat? Do you have any debts or anything that, are coming due soon that you won't be able to pay? Or are you going to be all right, to wait this out?
And she shakes her head. She says, I'm pretty even right now. I'm maybe a little ahead even." And she looks around the room. Just even offering these people a discount, I think I'll come out ahead this month. So I don't see any problems with that. Especially people seem so stressed. They're drinking a little bit more than usual, if anything else.
So, yeah, I would just say, if it comes to it, and you end up short, let me know.
She nods and has a smirk and says, "Oh, thank you for that, Boris."
Of course. So yeah, I basically just make chit chat, kind of flirt with her, and I mean definitely flirt with her, and and yeah, just basically wait until we could talk alone.
Okay. Give me a diplomacy check to see how well your flirting goes.
Assuming
you're studying her.
I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, I'm studying it, but with my connection, I have full bars on the Wi-Fi, and it's still 4 of 6 cached.
Huh. All right. Let me.
The healthy heart out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move maps once or twice and see if that. Oops, wrong one. And then I'll move you back to the Swedish Drop Tower.
4 of 6, 5 of 7.
Yeah, sometimes it gets stuck. Because Map Tool is great software. It's the best. Yeah, so you're schmoozing her, and it takes a while. It does take 15 to 20 minutes for her to have enough time to meet you in the corner. But once things are kind of calmed down a bit, and she gets one of her other wenches that comes and takes over behind the bar, she actually goes to a table with just you and her.
Yeah, so I have been like nursing my beer, and like I'll bring that over with me. And basically, just I tell her that Oppian sent a contingent of men out and attacked unprovoked, without like any attempt to parley, and that they were very soundly put down by the outcasts. So.
Unlike the other two, Janet does seem genuinely surprised by this. You know, I knew he was angry. He left the meeting so furious. I didn't think he'd do that, though. You know, we came to a decision. The council had a vote. And he was soundly outvoted. I can't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, Oppian is a stubborn man. I'm sure he thinks he's doing what's best, but like he's absolutely unyielding and has absolutely no empathy. Like he can't see or compassion. Like he can't see things from other people's perspective. Like, and his goal clearly isn't to save Cantaria. It's really just for the glorious reclamation.
And she shakes her head. And she's like, she agrees with you on the fact that he doesn't seem to see other people's opinions or other people's point of views. And he says, she reiterates that this curfew is insane. I don't know what the goal is here. He claims it's his power, it's under his power as governor, that he didn't need to have a council vote for it. And he says that the town is under the threat of immediate attack. So, and she shrugs. Like, I don't know what he's talking about. I think he's seeing threats where none exist.
Yeah, and what we're really concerned about is we're bringing about like 20 bodies back right now, like for people who died in battle, and like we need to provide them like the Cantarian like burial that they deserve, which means that we need to get into Valor's fastness, and this seems like it's going to come to a head very quickly.
She nods. She says, I don't know what's going to happen. And she kind of reiterates the same point. Like, the Valor's Fastness has been closed up for the past day and a half. It's been solid. Like, doors closed. Normally those doors are open and Imadean worshippers are free to go in and out, at least to the first floor where the church is, where the chapel is. But for the last day and a half, the doors have been closed, and the guards have been shouting from the towers, turning people away unless they have an escort or are an approved visitor.
Like, what sort of escort do they need?
Like a ranking sword knight. Like, not even sergeants aren't good enough. Like a ranking sword knight needs to escort them in.
Wow. All right. This is crazy.
And she says, like as you said, I think Oppian is losing it. He's seeing a lot of enemies where none exist. He's been acting very paranoid. It doesn't seem like he trusts much of anybody anymore. And she seems still stunned that he sent out the thing. Like, I heard that there was a detachment leaving. I can't believe they went up to quell the resistance like that. I can't believe he sent those men out like that. It doesn't sound like the Oppian I know.
No, I mean, he sent angels too. Or at least
curious.
one.
Angels?
Yeah, like, I mean, they were still put down, but like he deployed angels with his men.
And she looks seriously. So the loyalists put down an angel? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the loyalists lost one man. The glorious reclamation lost probably 20 plus. I think it may have been Cassiel. I think his name was.
Her eyes go wide and she seems shocked. Cassiel? Cassiel died? The loyalist killed Cassiel? And she's like, I don't believe it. Like, how?
And they were just like truly outmatched. They really never stood a chance.
She continues shaking her head. She's like, I don't believe this. I don't believe he sent them. I don't believe they were that outmatched. This all seems crazy to me. And she seems almost shocked. Like, so much blood. Like, why does there have to be so much killing?
We at the town council meeting, like Nero tried to broker a peace, and Oppian wouldn't have it until Oppian is removed and stands trial for the crimes that he's committed against Cantaria. Like, there's no there's not going to be an end to this, to these deaths.
Hearing about the truce, like, yes, the truce, we voted on it, we voted to do it. Was Nero there? Was Nero able to negotiate a peace with these people before or after the fight?
Yeah, he was able to broker the truce. Like the truce was already like in place, like pending the decision of the council. Like the council basically just had to ratify it, and you guys did, and Oppian has defied that. Right now, like they're on their way back with the dead. Like the Cantarians are returning, like both like loyalists and like glorious reclamation like followers alike. Like those who survived were patched up, like so that they wouldn't just bleed out and die. The dead are being brought home to receive honorable like burials. Like these people are Cantarians. It's what they deserve.
She nods in agreement to everything you said, and she says, like, I wish you the best, and I hope you can talk some sense into Oppian just to end this once and for all. We agreed to the truce, like you said. We were ready to ratify whatever Nero had come up with. We agreed to let Zara have her armor back. We were ready for this to end, and I can't believe that he would go around like that. He would go around the agreement like that and cause so much pain, so much death. You can see her just looks dejected. Like, this is not something she wanted. She's always been in the favor of whatever the least bloodiest option is, and Oppian has circumvented the council and caused 21 people to die.
Yeah. Nah, so yeah, Boris goes to comfort her, like gives her a hug.
Okay.
So,
are you connected enough to make a diplomacy check again, or?
Yeah, Boris makes a non-sexual hug.
Good job.
Only Boris Everness's owners can impersonate or run macros on it.
Oh really? Oh, you changed him to Rip Bob instead of Rip Booze. Now you can do it.
Oh, Rip Bob. Oh, my bad. It's been too long, man.
It's fine.
Ooh,
yeah,
oh my
so
god.
That's not great. So you don't really move her emotions in any way, but you don't also embarrass yourself. That's an adequate thing. So you do comfort her a little bit, but you can tell that she's still in shock. She's in shock of all the stuff that happened, that these people had died, that Oppian had done all these things, and she also is still kind of furious that this curfew even exists. Like she's kind of indignant about the whole thing. Like, not only is it killing her business, but just as a matter of principle, she doesn't think that the church should be flexing its muscle this way. That people were arrested, people that were at her tavern yesterday were arrested, and she's just pissed off. So yeah, so you do comfort her a little bit, but you can still tell that she's very agitated about the whole situation. But she does wish you the best. She does want you to succeed in your endeavors, and she hopes that you're able to bury the Cantarians honorably.
Alright, is it like nighttime now?
Yes, it took long enough that like the sun has set, and some people have begun to disperse. Some people are wary of getting arrested, but there are enough people in here that you think will have to risk being arrested, questioned, and/or arrested.
Is there a stable here?
Yeah, there's a stable here.
All right, I'll ask her. Yeah, I ask her like if I can stay the night, and if there's room for me.
And she smirks and says, "Certainly, there's room for you."
And I said thank you, and I tell her I'm gonna like go put like Scar to bed.
All right.
Like go out to go put her in the stables.
Okie dokie.
And then I like head back inside and basically like help finish serving like all the patrons that are there for the rest of the night.
Sure.
Just being like generally helpful. And
Jana is very appreciative for any help. Like I said, she was kind of busy. It is slowing down now, but just you're helping to clean up and help to serve. It's getting things moving. So she's very happy for all that.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. So the other people are still traveling. They'll get there probably tomorrow morning, maybe a little late morning. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's going to happen. Anything else you want to do at night there, Mr. Vors?
Fortitude check.
Go ahead, buddy.
Boom.
Admirable. Yeah, you perform admirably. You are admirable sex haver that night. And yeah, so she does invite you back to her room after everything's gone. And people do clear out. A bunch of people do get a room, and they actually crowd like four drunk patrons into a room just because they don't want to risk going home. But a bunch of people do leave the inn after dark. And unless you're doing any scouting, you're not sure what happened to them until later. But you are hanging out with Jana the whole night. And we'll pick
Sanctuary.
And all you people walking, do you want to do anything during that time before you arrive in town?
So I do. Basically, this will involve a question too, because I don't think I have enough charges to get all of them. How many bodies do we have with us?
If you took all of them, I think you had. What did I say?
I don't think we were going to take all of them though, right? We were going to take like some of the generals and stuff, and then like some of the slingers.
It says take slingers, recognizable volunteers, and the high-ranking soldiers. So that would be Ram Gadar as a Six Swords Knight. Maybe the 3 sergeants. So that's 4. Would you take the squires?
Whatever we can.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I.
More probably.
Yeah. So if you take those 3, the 3 sergeants, the Ram Gadar, and the 3 slingers, you have what, 7 bodies. And then let's say one of the militia volunteers was recognizable enough that you would know who they were. So let's say you have 8 bodies, 8 corpses.
Okay. Well then, basically, I want to see if I can animate a bunch of them. But I only have the lesser spell, so is there a way for me to like burn a hero point or something to get more of them than I otherwise could?
Let me see how the lesser one even works.
I think you get like 1 corpse, like as opposed to the normal version, you can touch a bunch and like there's a limit to how many you can control and raise. But I think with this one, it's with lesser, it's no matter what, even if you're raising like a really small corpse, you still only get 1.
I think you can command more than one of them. You just can only make one at a time.
Correct. Yes, but I only have 3 because it's a level 3 spell for me, and I only have 3 of those right now, so I'd only be able to actually raise 3.
So level 3 spell. Oh yeah, because you're a sword. Yeah, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd want more of them. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, ideally I'd want to do all but 1 or 2 if I could.
Yeah.
But,
so the way that hero points work. First off, do you have enough onyx?
I'm gonna do something different for that. This is gonna be a whole
right.
thing.
Yeah, I forgot you have that spell. All right.
Yeah.
So the way hero points work for this, it is one of the listed things. You can try to cast a spell a level higher than yours, but it requires a spellcraft check. So basically, you're trying to weave the magic into something more powerful than you can do. So if you're willing to burn a hero point, and you're willing to make a DC 15 spellcraft check, I will allow you to cast that.
All right. Let me see how likely I think I am to pull this off. I think I have decent spellcraft actually. Yeah, I've got a 10. So I feel like that's worth taking a chance. All right. So basically, at some point on the way back, Iwan's going to try to do this discreetly. So, it may just be like at some point, oh, my legs are getting tired, I'm going to go sit aboard the wagon, something like that. If somebody wants to be suspicious, you can be. You can let me know. But either way, basically she'll hop up there and take out like a little dagger or knife. I don't think she actually has one that's a weapon, so let's just say it's like a food-related knife or something.
Sure.
And she'll kind of pause for a minute and then start looking at her spell book. And let me click on her. Can you take me back to the map with her so I can click something?
Sure. Okay, sorry. F. There you go. I'll move Vora's back there just so we can see that too.
Okay. Sorry, I'm having trouble finding my token.
You're in the water over here.
Ah, got it. All right, cool. Thank you. So yeah, so she'll start looking at her spell book, and unpreparing a spell and preparing a different one.
Okay.
And then she'll do that again. So she's kind of like making some notes to herself and like kind of looking like, yeah, I think I remember this. I got this. Writing some notes, and does that twice basically. So this and this. And basically, she is remembering how to cast the Blood Money spell, and she's remembering also how to do the Animate Dead Lesser.
Okay.
So those are prepared now. So then she starts kind of like she closes her eyes and just starts visualizing like this army of, you know, zombified Glorious Reclamation guys like rising up, kind of like what's his name? What was that wizard that she tutored? Oh, Talon, yeah. Kind of like he described. So she starts visualizing that, and when she opens her eyes, she kind of like cringes a little bit and takes out her knife and basically like slits her hand. And let me cast this spell too. So that's this one. So I'm taking a damage, and I'm also taking a strength damage to make the whatever it is. Let's say 6 times the 25 for onyx, so 300 gold worth of onyx.
So you're raising 6 of the corpses?
Yeah, that's ideally. I want to leave 2.
Excellent choice. I was looking at all the numbers. Excellent choice on the 6.
Okay.
Yeah, because Houndy counts as 6 because he is 6
Right.
items.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, excellent choice. So that will make it so you don't lose control of anybody.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So you can do that, but remember, casting a spell with a vocal component is like you have to speak clearly. So even though you're on this thing, so when you're animating dead, people will hear you casting something.
I understand.
Okay.
So and while she's doing this, she's going to be what is that language? Necrol, I think it is.
Necrol
is that right?
The dead language. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what she'll be kind of saying it, all this stuff in Necrol. If anybody understands that, good for them. So she casts that, and she kind of like she has a stream of blood in her hand, and she goes around just dripping a drop on each of the 6 corpses she wants to raise. And let's say that she'll do everybody except whoever's the most recognizable figure. Like basically, if she were to have to reveal one body to Oppian to like show that there were dead people, like that's the one that she would. That one, and then whichever one is the like least, maybe one of the halfling slingers, let's say. She'll like those are the 2 that she won't do.
So the first one you won't do is the 6 sword knight Ram Gadar, or I missed the first part. Sorry.
Yeah, whoever she thinks Oppian would like, if she were to show a body to Oppian to say like these people are dead, these are corpses. Like whichever one she thinks would be maybe most impactful to him to see. So,
yes,
probably
certainly Ram Gadar, the 6 sword knight, is the highest ranking person. So you're going to leave him and one of the slingers, and all the other human ones you're going to turn into what, skeletons or zombies?
So if zombies basically look the same, right? They're just like. If she did skeletons, basically the flesh would go away,
Correct.
but zombies would kind of look the same, right?
Correct. Yeah, for a while
Okay,
anyway, until the zombies start to rot. Yeah.
Right. So so she's going to try to do zombies on the other 6.
Sure. Yeah, there's no rolls or anything. You just get them.
Well, I got to do the spellcraft thing, right?
Yes, that you do have to do.
And I have to burn a hero point.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm burning the hero point, and I'm going to try. So I have to spellcraft this.
Here we go. 15. You can do it. You're plus 10. Let's see what happens. You did it. Yeah.
Ooh.
So you're sitting up there on top of your thing. You've done your blood money. You've sacrificed some of your own strength to create fake onyx, basically onyx from your own blood. And you say some magic words. You're talking in Necrol, and you say some magic words. Anybody can make a spellcraft check if you're curious what she was doing. But you successfully animate 6 of the bodies into zombies, and you automatically control them.
Awesome. So basically, once she recognizes that it succeeded, she goes to each one and just basically tells them to just like lie back down and play dead until she tells them. Well, I mean, this probably can't be a complex argument, so she'll just say to play dead.
Yes,
So
they're okay with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, all of them are supposed to play dead, ideally as limply as possible, but again, they probably can't understand that.
Nero, you did identify. You know that she is not only performing necromancy, you are pretty certain she's animated some of those corpses.
Okay. As soon as she started casting, he might do something like distracting. You know, talking to the men, telling them what good fight they had, whatever. You know, tending to the injured and like maybe poking somebody in the ribs in the wrong way so they make a yelp.
But again, this would be in a language that presumably none of them would understand, right?
Sure.
Correct, but magic
I don't
is
think
magic.
that's
At the end of the
fair.
day, if they have spellcraft, Zara, I just checked, she does not, so she has no idea what you're doing. She knows you're doing some sort of wizardry up there, but she doesn't care.
Okay. And then basically she would start kind of preparing things. So if there's any like sheets or anything like that in there, she'll try to start like basically wrapping or covering as many of the bodies as she possibly can.
Okay. All right, wrapping them up for funerary rites. Okie dokie. Anything else with your undead army?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Anybody else walking there have anything they want to do? Michael or Nero? Bob Elzub or Nero?
Nero would tend to the injured. I assume that they're going to start waking up or get close to waking up.
Sure.
Just make sure that they're bound and doing okay. And yeah,
Yeah.
Bob does not do anything, because Bob would probably be killing people that Nero's helping.
Do you want to? Are you saying anything? Are you doing anything? Are you talking to Zara or anybody?
No, because I'm just gonna piss her off. No.
Just gonna piss her off. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 medium zombies. Alright. Let me save that. Alright, if that's it, then let's take a bio break right now, and we'll pick up tomorrow morning in like 5 minutes. So.
All right, so like
Yeah.
right when I got my video going, you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
fuck
fuck
out.
that guy. I don't care about that.
face. Ugh.
Ugh. Alright, see you in a bit.
How's it going, Jeff?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Feels good to be back in San Diego and not in Florida.
Yeah, I bet.
Florida. Florida's a terrible place.
Yeah. How long have you been back for?
18 hours?
Okay. And how long are you there for until you have to travel again?
I travel on the 16th.
Okay. So not too long, actually.
No, not at all. Yeah, I'll be down in Florida for a week. Then I head up to DC for Christmas. And then I head back to Florida on the 26th. Then I'll be there until like January 2nd. And at that point, I think I'll fly back to DC. And then Danielle and I will drive to San Diego together.
So Danielle is still in DC until then?
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Can I just like straight up disable? Yeah, there we go. That's better. You're not hearing me twice, right?
I'm not hearing you twice, that's right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I wanted to do the group chat, but like apparently, like I don't know if so. I'm using my work computer, like to run the VTT, and I'm guessing that like every little packet that comes and goes is checked by some sort of program. So I think that's what is choking it, and
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah, because like stuff's loading without the Hangouts going. Looks like stuff is. Yeah, I can actually load all the maps now. So yeah, no, things are going well. Yeah, I'll be going into the office for the first time in like 5 weeks tomorrow. So
It's kind of crazy. You've spent way more time so far. How many days have you actually spent in the office since you started the job? Like a week?
No, more than that. So I started on October 9th, and I departed. Well, apparently, I don't have that on there. And I left on November 3rd. Yeah. So, yeah, so it was like 3.5 or
Okay.
like close to 4 weeks. Yeah, close to 4 weeks.
All right.
Um,
What is this zombie thing? Fast zombies?
those are the scary ones.
They lose damage reduction, but they move regularly instead of
yeah.
Sitting out like all ploddingly or whatever.
instead of being very slow and like they can take one move or one attack or charge an attack, they can do like standard moves, stuff like that.
Do I have to have like a higher level spell to get those, or is it like a feat or something?
I think you cast. I think for that one, I've read about it. I think you cast remove paralysis as you're casting animate dead. Like as part of the casting, you cast remove paralysis on the bodies, and then you cast animate dead.
Interesting.
If the creator casts haste or remove paralysis in addition to animate dead, he may create fast zombies. The base land creature's speed increases by 10 feet. A fast zombie does not gain DR5 for slashing. A fast zombie gains a special attack, and that it gets to make 2 attacks.
Can
Okay,
you zombify like horses?
Yeah.
All right,
definitely,
dude, like so Bob.
Dude.
No, just think about Bob like charging into battle on a zombie horse.
yeah. That is pretty awesome to think about.
You
Yeah.
have to be a
The other
fast
thing that's-
horse.
The other thing that's nice is the horse is under my control, so if I don't like where Bob's going, I can stop.
That's pretty good.
All right. I've got a question
Yes.
regarding the zombification.
Bunyips can be zombified too, yes.
But if you
They can
zombify
be
the
dead
bunyip,
first.
can the bunyip not be in water?
It can still swim. You can have zombified.
No. But what I'm saying is, can it live on land if it's a zombie?
It's still
keeps
gonna
its same
rot.
movement stuff. So it can still, like a zombie bird can still fly, but is like slow and clumsy. A zombie fish can still swim, but is still going to be just as shitty on land.
All right, never mind then.
Yeah, for the record, your bunyip can live outside of water. It just is really bad outside of water.
Well, that's stupid.
Hey,
It's a seal, dude.
Well, why can't it be a fast zombie seal?
I mean, it can be a fast zombie seal. It'll still be slow on land because it's a fucking seal.
yeah, it doesn't like
Alright.
speed up the sealness. It's a seal.
Can we get the bunyip a horse?
Strap it to a horse.
I'm surprised you took the enchant weapon.
Why?
for your 5th level thing, because you like having like minions so much, and you get to like basically summon a minion.
Yeah, but I only like the minions that my character probably shouldn't have.
Well, so I mean, pick anything off of the summon monster list, and that's what you could summon permanently and have it at your command, beck and call all the time. Do what I say.
I just like start working up your rapport with Brexter. It'll be there soon enough.
Yeah.
But you just gotta remember to talk to him.
You're chosen a Moloch. It's perfect.
Yeah. It's like this character was made for it.
Yeah, okay. So Vor sleeps at the Swedish Strap Tavern. Some people do leave the tavern at night to go home. And the rest of the party gets there in the late morning. So, Voruz and Jana, you're still hanging out at the Swedish Strap Tavern. She's kind of setting up for the day. There's very little breakfast crowd. They don't get a lot of people going in there for breakfast drinks. But is there anything you want to do in the morning before the rest of the party shows up?
Yeah, basically, like I would go out like right at dusk. So like I guess right when the curfew would end.
Mhm.
Like after I don't know, would Jana be up that early? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
All right. So yeah, I just slip out. Maybe write a little thank you note, and basically saying like, "Thank you, got stuff to do. I'll talk to you soon." Like I don't know, something like
All right.
that. Yeah, and then yeah, like saddle up Skarta and basically just like start like heading back towards the party to meet up with them, so that we're not split because I don't like being split from the party.
Yeah. So you head north and you find them pretty quickly. They're fairly close to town. Like I said, they're going to get in late morning. So you go up just maybe an hour or two and you find them. And they're traveling a bit slower. They've got a bunch of corpses in a wagon that they're dragging around. And the prisoners you have.
Do I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, do I notice anything like as I'm leaving town?
Not a whole lot. Again, it's still fairly early in the morning, but based on the amount of time you spent in Cantaria previously, there are much fewer people out than there normally were. And make your perception check to see if you notice anything else.
What map am I on?
You are all on this map. In the water.
Town of Cantaria or
Town of
lowest?
Cantaria, yeah.
Well, that one hasn't loaded yet. Oh no.
Oh dear. Now there's all
I
these
switched to my
zombies.
phone for video or like chatting. So, God damn it.
Gosh darn it.
44:53. Oh, God damn it. All right, I'll be back.
Is this switching computers? It's so good.
No, I didn't switch computers, but I switched to my phone for
Oh,
the
the video.
yeah.
Ba-boom-ba.
Yeah, I'm using my work computer right now to run this, and I'm pretty sure that like every single packet that's being sent or received is being scanned. So
Is there a virus in this? No.
it's still loading campaign. I'm sorry, guys.
We'll find you.
Joe, you can just roll for me while
Sure.
we're waiting.
Why not? Vor's Perception E. You got a 15. So you don't notice too many things going on outside of town, but you do
Right.
see on the way towards them that some people appear to be leaving town. Like you see a person with a small wagon being drawn by a horse that is leaving the town.
Which way are they going?
They're heading south.
Heading south. I would go over and ask him where he's going.
He shakes his head and says, "Anywhere but here. I don't like what's going on." And he says, "Some vandals desecrated my house. Graffitied my house 2 days ago, and I don't think it's safe here for, supporters of the Glorious Reclamation anymore."
That's too bad. Yeah, it's really a shame that things came to this. Like Oppian's clearly out of his mind and is forcing a dangerous situation.
He nods and he gestures to. He has his son there, just him and his son, and he says, "We went to the fastest and asked for refuge there, but they wouldn't let us in. Like we didn't have an escort. They weren't sure who we were. We immigrated here because we heard so many great things about how this was going to be the new heart of the Glorious Reclamation's empire, but it seems like it's all falling apart."
That's crazy that you were turned away. Like
He just shrugs. He's like, they couldn't prove who we were. They didn't believe us. They said they couldn't trust people to come inside. They said that we were under siege.
that's insanity. I'm sorry for your. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish you luck wherever your travels may find you or may bring you. Yeah.
Yeah, so he nods, and you can see he's kind of dejected, but he continues on with his son and his little wagon and horse. And they're headed south. All right. So you continue on your way. You don't see anything else odd or interesting. And then an hour and a half later, you kind of bump into the rest of the party, and you head back to the town. Anything you want to do when you meet up with them?
Just check in with Nero, ask him, like, what's up?
You're looking at it.
I mean, like, any developments or?
No, tell me what's going on in town.
All right, so basically just like recant like all the like everything going on there, and like tell him about how Loredana, Linton, and Jana all reacted. Inform him about the curfew and Valor's fastness and how they're turning away, like even Glorious Reclamation, like aligned type, like townspeople.
While you're talking, Nero is pulled out a book, and he's sifting through the book, and he's pinning his fingers to different words, and he's waiting for you to finish. But yeah, continue.
Vors looks at it quizzically, but not surprised because it's Nero. And just thinks to himself, hashtag just Nero things. And all right, yeah. So yeah, Vors. Yeah, basically, I mean that's all there is. Oh, I may allude to. Yeah, yeah. I can tell. I'll tell Nero that I have Linton working on something for me.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You should see this. You should see this interesting tract I found in this book, and he basically points you from word to word, and the words he picked up are bodies and alive, and then he glances, and then he looks over at Iwan.
And Boris just like shakes his head. He's just like, it's like, damn it. Is there a range on those, like for like animate dead or whatever?
What do you mean by range?
How far you can control them?
Yeah,
I don't think
or
so.
like before they get deactivated.
I don't think so. I think you can leave them somewhere and go far away, and they're still yours.
I mean, I've been
Alright.
doing that with Houndy like all the time, leaving him in my room.
Yeah, like you can't
Yeah.
give them orders from anywhere in the world. Like you have to actually talk to them. They hear you to do things, but like they're still yours. They still recognize you as their master as long as you haven't lost control of them some other way.
Yeah. All right. All right. So I shake my head and like I tell Boris, I say, all right, I'll talk to her.
No, it's fine. I think it'll be strategically advantageous. I want you to be aware.
All right, if you say so.
All right. Anything else?
Is Iwan walking? And is she setting the pace for everybody?
Well, if it was possible, because we were walking into the night. I mean, she would probably try to just sleep on the cart so she can get a full night of sleep in. Is that allowable?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So she's probably still on the cart.
All right. I was just saying that. Or she can ride with Boris on Scarta if she wants.
Yeah. She doesn't really slow it down because you have a wagon that's kind of loaded like enough that the horses can't just run. Like that's just as slow as a halfling walking next to it. So you're not gaining anything by having her sleeping in the thing other than she can sleep.
All right.
You're not gaining speed.
A gnome.
Sorry, apologies. All you little people look alike to me. This is Charlie X.
Ouch.
Yeah, so you guys continue walking. You're riding, Mr. Vors. And yeah, so you get there in late morning, and you can see that the town is kind of waking up. But as Vors noticed yesterday, everybody else who's there for the first time, you see the streets are all but deserted. There are very few people milling around town. like a lot of the merchants still have their stores open, but some of them have just completely boarded them up, and there's just fewer people moving around as you enter town.
But Vor's told us about this already, right?
I told Nero.
Or he told Nero. Okay.
Yep.
So what are you guys looking to do? Where are you looking to go?
Well, do we leave the cart here and get the other council members together? Do we call a meeting?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean,
Do we go directly to Vizane?
well, what else do we need to discuss with the... I mean, it seems like Boris has prepped the council fairly well, right? What else do we need to discuss with them?
Oh, I haven't gotten to see my trap yet, so.
Is he on the council now? I forget.
No, he's not. But he
Okay.
should. He should probably be
If I have
informed.
my way, he will be.
Okay.
Ugh. All right.
Is there a legal precedent for removing the governor of Cantaria?
You believe it would be a vote of no confidence. That presumably it hasn't ever happened because the town's only been incorporated for a couple months. But presumably, like if the town council voted him out, then he should step down. You would believe that to be true.
Okay. So let's gather the council members. Let's gather what crowd we have, and let's bring the cart to the town. Do we want
That sounds good.
do we want to see Zane first, or call the meeting first?
Do we think he's going to come to the meeting?
I mean,
Because if
we need to tell. I mean, Oppian technically still is a sitting council member, so he should at least be informed and given the chance to come to the meeting.
So maybe let's see Zane first, and then start the meeting.
Well, I would tell. At this point, I would like tell Nero that Zane has been inside the fastness, like talking with Oppian.
He's been inside the fastness, or he is inside the fastness?
I'm not sure. I just know that he's been having some pretty, some very, I guess, glorious reclamation type conversations with Zane, based on what I've heard.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll get lucky and catch him at Narcopolis Manor. And if you can be prepared with what we've talked about, Iwin, and he motions like this, in case things go awry.
Oh, yep. Iwan confirms that she'll be ready.
All right. So you're all going to the manor? Everybody going?
Yeah, let's leave the cart. Let's leave the cart outside of town, and we'll bring that in as soon as we're ready.
Okay.
Probably the only other thing before we go is Iwan would go over to the scribe and just say, hey, could you, like, while we're doing what we're going to need you basically to summarize what happened, because you're going to be the most, like, unbiased speaker. Can you take a few hours to write up some summary bullets that you would present to the council in terms of what you saw?
He nods and says, certainly I would. And he basically wants to go back to his the Historicum and tell his husband all about what happened and go over the notes with him.
That sounds good. And basically, she would just say, like, keep your try to like keep your ear to the ground about when the council meeting will happen so that you can be there.
Sure.
Boris, how crazy is town right now? Does he need an escort?
Not if it's during the day, technically, but it'd probably be prudent. Like basically
Zara,
no.
would you mind if I sent one?
No one should be like alone right now.
Zara, would you mind if I sent him with a couple of yours to get him home?
Everyone that came was a Bob loyalist. Only 4 of them came, right? So really, you're asking Bob.
Oh. Or I could ask Zara if she wouldn't mind Like, I guess, yeah. Let's just send him home, and we'll just go to Narcopolis.
What number is this place?
Narcopolis Manor is number 9. It's the second biggest building in town.
No, not that one.
Which one?
His place.
Whose place? Oh, the Historicum. I don't know, 3 or somewhere in the north, I think.
All right, so it's on the way in. That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll walk him home.
3 or 6 or something.
Like on the way down to
Sure.
the manor.
Sure. All right. And so, but you're bringing Zara's coming into town now, right? Are you bringing the loyalists into town as well?
Yes.
We told people we were going to be negotiating peace with them, so I don't see. Yeah, I mean,
Correct. Yeah, but are you leaving the wagon
Maybe
outside? Like,
explain.
you're dragging the wagon with you too, or what's?
Let's leave the wagon somewhere hidden, like hide it at the Uskwood for now.
Okay.
Lord Donna won't be happy about that.
Hide it in the forest near the Uskwood. Just
Fair
I
enough.
don't want to be carting a bunch of bodies around.
The Historicum is number 6, by the way, so it's in the northern part of town. So yeah, it is on the way, so you can drop him off along the way.
Okay.
And as you move through the town, as Vor's kind of implied, there's not full scale rioting during the day, but there is more graffiti than he did see the previous day. So it seems like at night the vandals are out, the ruffians are out. Like this something is happening in the town at night, and during the day people are afraid to go out. But there's not like open violence in the streets or anything that you have observed yet. In the small amount of time you've been here, though, you have not noticed a single Glorious Reclamation patrol during the day.
Yeah, I was like, why don't you want to bring the bodies in yet?
Because I don't want to be with a cart full of bodies before we unveil them at the meeting.
Okay.
If you want to bring them with us, that's fine. I just don't want to have to
I mean, like,
explain
I don't-
why we have a big.
No, we just tell people that we're calling a council meeting, and it'll be discussed there.
Sure, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think we should be leaving them anywhere.
Fine.
Okay, yeah, so you're carting around a thing of bodies, and some people do ask. So again, there aren't a whole lot of people, but some of the commoners are bold enough to ask, what's in the wagon. They can kind of make out some of them are wrapped up. I think Iwan said she was wrapping them for funerary rites and stuff. So it is pretty obvious that you have corpses, and some people do say, what's going on? Who are they?
Madness. We're gonna have a council meeting. We'll disclose fully there.
Yeah, so
You won't believe it. It's madness.
I guess Vors will tell Nero to head to the town square, and that he'll go summon all the council members. Yeah, and
So we're doing the meeting first. We're not going to see Zane first.
ooh, gosh, fuck, God damn it.
Zane.
I forgot about Zane. Boris totally forgot about Zane. He's tired.
That's fine. We'll go to Zane quickly, and then we'll
Yep.
pop on back.
All right, yeah, let's go talk to Zane.
Yeah, okay. So you head over to Narcopolis Manor. So you do walk through town, and you do get a couple of other people asking about the bodies, but toss me a diplomacy check, Nero, to see if you
Sure.
assuage their concerns along the way. Certain you're going to do more than well enough. Yeah. So people respect you enough to understand that something happened, and you do say, oh, there's going to be a council meeting about it later. So that actually does help to spread the word. Like, the commoners are hearing there's going to be a town council meeting, and we'll see how many people actually end up showing up. So you make your way through town, and you get to Narcopolis Manor, and I'm just going to take the 4 of you and move you over to the Narcopolis map. Alright. Boom. Let me know when that loads for all y'all. Oh, whoops, there you go. Sorry, yeah. I should have done that. Yeah. Yeah.
Loaded.
Everybody else good?
I don't have control of my token though.
Who are you now?
Rip booze.
You should have control of your
I
token.
can't click on anyone.
Oh, your objects. I'm an idiot. Now you're back. How about
Nice.
No big deal.
them apples?
Cool.
Yeah. So walking up to the manor, You notice immediately that the door has been busted in.
Oh.
Oh. So I'll go hustling in.
All right. You go in, and the entire place has been trashed. All of things have been ripped off the walls. The couches are turned over. All of the angel statues you've seen before are just missing. And
So-
the entire place appears to be looted. And as you walk in, Nero, you see the corpse of a commoner over here near the bookcases.
So I'll go booking over to there, and I'll be calling for Zane.
As you move into the hallway, you see many corpses of commoners in this hallway, and all of them bear scorch marks, and some of them have their flesh completely burned off. And all of the books in the bookcases have been reduced to ash.
Oh. Phaedrith, are you here?
Nobody responds.
Okay. So we'll do a quick survey of the building, I guess. Commoners ain't going to bring down Zane.
Right, and I think I'm not sure if it was Nero or Iwin, but someone who was investigating this place did notice that there was some sort of evocation magic trap on these bookcases. So it appears that it might not even have been an intentional act. If someone was trying to loot the bookcases, this whole hallway could have gone up.
Boris says very quietly to Iwan, how much of your energy does it take to make me invisible?
Not much. I can do it pretty easily.
All right, yeah, that may be prudent.
Okay.
He's not the ambushing type. I don't think he's here, but
No, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, you guys going upstairs, just looking around.
sure.
I mean,
Sure.
Okay, so as you walk around, pretty much everything has been either looted or destroyed. There's like a grand piano in the north eastern room over there. It was just destroyed, ripped to pieces, and everything. Vors is heading up to the second floor, and there was a room where they had a bunch of glass cabinets holding like artifacts and stuff like that, interesting relics, all smashed and gone. The glass is destroyed. It appears as though whatever rage the town had, it fell on this manor.
yeah, Boris would also like knock an arrow and draw his bow. Just
Sure. You're moving around sneakily with your bow drawn, but you find nobody here. You go through all the rooms slowly, room by room, and you can see the entire place is just, destroyed. This bed that Zane slept in was burned. Those beds that you're in right now, those are
assume we don't
fine
find
but
any-
tossed.
And we don't find any Zane remains, I'm sure.
You don't find any corpses other than the ones in that main room.
Okay.
And all of his books and the relics he was studying, all that stuff's all gone.
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, let's call the meeting. Send a runner to the fastness.
I'm on it. So I'll hop on Scarta, go to Linton and Loredana first, tell them what's up. Head to Jana, and then I would go to the outside of the fastness.
All right. Where's everybody else going? You're going to the town center or whatever to get ready for the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody doing anything else?
I'll
Vors
send a
is
runner
some-
for the... Can we send a runner for the halflings? Can you run to the halflings as well?
Sure.
I was planning on doing that after I told the people in the fastness
Sure,
about it,
so long as
just
we-
because.
No big deal, so long as they're all notified.
I mean, I figured we should tell all the council members first before.
Sure.
Okay. So do you want to say anything specific to the council members, or just kind of some of them? Because they're all sort of on the same page. Vors talked to them yesterday. Anything
Yeah,
else you
I
want
would
to
just
say?
say, basically to those three, Nero's back. He's calling a council meeting.
Okay. So all of them are amenable. They sort of knew this was going to happen. This was sort of on their radar. And they all just, without much discussion, they nod and say, "When is it being held?"
Immediately.
Oh, all right. So they all begin to pack up their stuff and get ready to do it. So you got that, and then you're sending a runner to the fastness, or are you going to the fastness, Vors?
Vors is going to the fastness.
All right. So you're going to the fastness. I'll take you over to the fastness. Should really get some,
I
should
get,
get some
I
music
get
for the
to
fastness.
I get to go there for realsies.
I'll just put you on the map just for fun.
All right.
Well, see how long it takes you to load it, I guess. um, but yeah, so you get to the fastness, and as I described to you earlier, the doors are closed. The big wooden heavy gates are closed and barred from behind. And as you approach, there are people on the towers. There's 4 sergeants in each tower, and one of them calls towards you. So is your hood up, down?
The hood would be down.
Okay, hood would be down. So let's see if this guy recognizes you. He has no idea who you are.
All right.
So he calls out and he says, Stop where you are. What is your business here at the fastness?"
I am the Baron Vor Zebernus, sent by the Honorable Nero of House Nero, council member of the town of Cantaria, here to inform the governor, Oppian, that what's his last name? Like
Oppian,
Neveldor. Yeah, to inform the council member and governor of Cantaria, Oppian Neveldor, that a town council meeting is being held, and all other council members are in attendance.
He seems okay with that. So when you said your name and you referenced the fact Nero, he knows who Nero is off the bat because he's a town council member. But after you said your name and your association with Nero, he does seem to nod, and he's figured out who you are. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't seem to care all that much. He says, I'll relay the message. Is there anything else?
No, if I would suggest that he comes to the council meeting.
And he just nods again and says, "I will relay the message."
Thank you. What was his rank?
He's a sergeant.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Yeah, you can tell that he's wearing the headdress. It identifies him pretty obviously.
Plumage.
The plumage.
All right. Yeah, I would just say thank you, Sergeant, and I would turn Scarto around and start heading toward my trop. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna dump you back in the town of Cantaria because that's easier than doing other stuff. And so then you head south to where the halflings live, and you find Mytrop and a bunch of halflings, and Mytrop, seeing you, is actually he walks over to you and with Ernest, and he exclaims that what's his name? Crap. Perko didn't come back last night. Master Vors, I need your help. Perko didn't come back last night. Perko and a few others didn't come back.
Vors thinks to himself, "Who the fuck's Perko?" and hopes that somebody else will tell him who Perko is.
Let's see. I'm gonna roll.
I seriously can't. I have no idea who Perko is.
Perko is the druid that Iwan has been tutoring in the ways of magic. He's one of the defenders of the town, or the halfling shire, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So maybe you forgot, but he begins describing. Mytrop's like, you know, the one Iwan's been tutoring, the one he was able to daze. He was able to stun some of the bandits that night.
Oh yeah, Perko. Of course. Yeah. Sorry.
Mytrop says he kind of reluctantly volunteers that Perko has, been taken. He hasn't been taken too kindly to the way the Glorious Reclamation has been treating the halflings and all the things that have happened to our people recently. And he's been going into town at night, flaunting the curfew, and he didn't come home yesterday.
Oppian's men have been capturing people out after curfew. There's just a strong possibility that he's in Valor's fastness. We're calling a council meeting. I'd be addressing him in halfling to make him feel more comfortable.
Oh,
since,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. My trop nods. He says that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that he got caught yesterday, either by the Glorious Reclamation or by slavers, or just succumbing to the violence at town that happens at night. I begged him not to go. I begged him to stay and just defend our piece of land here. But he seemed adamant about participating in whatever's happening up there.
I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it shortly. But Mytrop, I would suggest that you come with me, and summon as many people to the town council meeting as you can, from your village.
He nods and says, we'll be there. We'll be sure to be there. We want answers.
This is, yeah. I guess I would offer to let him ride with me if you wanted.
Well, if you wanted to bring others, the others can't ride with you.
Right.
Yeah.
I know,
But
I would
he rejects your offer. He says, I'll walk there with my with a bunch of my friends here. I'll gather as many as I can, and we'll show up as soon as we're able to.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I would go back. I mean, how long has it been at this point?
It's a little bit afternoon now, like it's a little after lunch. And all the other people, Jana, Loredana, and Linton, who were told the meeting was happening immediately, they have all arrived in the market square.
All right. I would go back and get the little scribbler and maybe his hubby.
Ah, the scribbler. Yes.
Yeah. And tell him that his council meeting is about to happen, and that if he's not done taking or jotting stuff down, then he needs to come learn more stuff to remember and write down later.
He's good. So yeah, he's created like kind of like a small list of bullet points, and he does have the larger like scroll that he was creating in Iwin's presence. So, but he does have the most important points noted down. Most notably that they weren't asking to parlay; they came there for violence, and all these things. All these things went down the way that Iwin kind of laid it out, and it does appear to be to your liking.
Okay. So yeah, I escort him to the town center, and
All right.
yeah.
So you get there, and Jana's there, Loredana's there, Linton's there, Nero's there, and Oppian is not there. There is no glorious reclamation presence at all. Both, what's her name? Calcyra the Just isn't there. Oppian isn't there. There are no visible glorious reclamation soldiers at all in the town square.
How did Durgle come?
Durgle did not come.
Because he didn't know, or because he didn't want to?
You're unaware.
He's working.
Yeah,
All right.
no,
All right. If my trop hasn't arrived yet, then Vors will go like ride over to, I think, was it number 7, like the guild hall.
I think
Guild hall.
Is it number 7? It is. It is. You are correct. Number 7 is the Labor Guild.
Yeah, you go over there, let him know, and then swing by the docks and let Jonas know what's going on too.
Okay. You swing by the Labor Guild, and Durgle is there, and he's just trying to keep people working. And he said that a lot of people didn't show up recently, and we still got all these jobs. Like they're building new houses for some of the halflings, and there are some defenses that were already paid for that like Nero and Oppian had already discussed. So he's trying to basically field those jobs as best he can. And when you tell him there's a town council meeting, he kind of just raises his hand and says, "Those haven't been doing very much for me recently. I'm keeping my nose down. I'm just here working."
All right. So at that point, I'll explain to him that like Oppian sent men out to basically just tell him what happened, like with the battle, like trying to be as general as possible, and just tell him that the town council meeting has been called to discuss that, and as the like labor master, be good to have him there, so that because like this is going to be a very pivotal like town council meeting, and we'll just possibly decide the fate of Cantaria.
All right, toss me a diplomacy check. See how well you sweet talk him. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, so you're talking about him, and the whole time he's kind of resisting. He's like, yeah, Oppian's gone crazy. Everybody knows he's gone crazy. I was there at the last council meeting. I saw him storm off, and he's been arresting some of my best workers. They just they're out drinking at night, and they just get taken up. Like, and he's kind of again resistant the whole time. But as you start talking, like, hey, this is going to be pivotal. This is important. This is this could determine the way the town is going. You kind of sweet talk. He's like, I could probably squeeze like an hour out of my day. So he's like, I'll try my best to be there.
All right, fantastic. If you're ready to go now, I can give you a ride.
He says, "Let me wrap up here. I'll be there shortly, though. It's not too far."
All right, excellent. What does Jonas say?
You go up to the docks, and Jonas is there working. There are no boats. There's nothing being unloaded. There's no boats docked at all. And he and his men are just bored.
All right. So, ours like does Vors like recognize any of the men to be like fighting men?
Fighting men? You mean like actual soldiers, or just like capable of fighting?
Capable of fighting.
They all seem pretty strong. You're not sure if they're good with a weapon or anything like that, but Jonas himself, or Jonas, whatever it is, he does seem very capable in a fight. He has a whip around his waist, and he seems like he knows what he's doing with it. But everybody else doesn't. You're not sure. Like, you think they'd hold their own in a fight, but you're not sure, like in an actual the sort of brawls you've been having with trained soldiers, how well they would do.
All right. I tell Jonas that we're gonna have a town council meeting. Opping's on his way out. He should probably be there.
He raises his eyebrows, and you say Oppian's on his way out, and he says, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for us?
You may want to be at the council meeting to make sure that you're on the right side of Cantaria.
He smirks. You can see in his eyes he's a little concerned because he's got a pretty sweet gig here. But he nods and says, I'll be there. I'll be sure to be there.
All right. Well, we're meeting like right now, so let's go.
He's like, oh, and he looks around. And he says, "It's been a slow day anyway." And he says, "I'll just get my things." And he is showing up. All right. And yeah, so then you get back to the town square, and Durgal's there, and Mytrop's there, and Jonas is on his way there. And Oppian still has not shown up, and people are murmuring. It's very obvious to anybody in the crowd and to you, even as you just start, moving through the crowds, that people are murmuring, like, where's Oppian? Why isn't he showing up? Why isn't Calcyra back? And it's just the four of you on the stage. It's Linton, Jana, Loredana, and Nero on like the little raised platform in their seats, and there are 2 empty seats.
All right. So Nero will, Vors will call out to Nero, tell him that like he's gonna go check at the fastness to see whether Oppian intends to come. So.
All right, and you'll start glad-handing the crowd and, blabbity-blabbing and schmoozing.
Anything in particular, or just schmoozing?
What's that?
Anything in particular, Nero, or are you just schmoozing the crowd?
Just allaying fears and suspicion, trying to, get the rabble, ready to be active and participating and,
Toss me another diplomacy check. Like I said, people are already, they're asking where he is. Some of the more malcontent type people are crying out like he's not fit to govern. Why is he hiding? Where's his face? He should show himself. Yeah. So you're doing a decent job calming people down, but you can tell that the crowd is very unhappy with what's going on. Ever since he put the curfew into place, no one's seen him. Like, people are shouting out, like, where is he? What has he got to hide? Why is he afraid? And you're doing your best to calm them down.
Yeah, Vors would instead of just trotting along, he would probably gallop over there.
All right.
Like he's moving.
You do, and you're treated much the same way. As you approach the gate, a different sergeant calls out, asks you what your business is in the fastness, and he does know who you are as you arrive.
I just say, Sergeant, I come on behalf of the assembled town council, and as the council member and Governor Oppian intend to participate in today's meeting.
And he shouts back, the message has been relayed, and the governor has not left, what is it called? Has not left the rotunda.
Does he intend to?
And he shakes his head and says, I am unaware. He does not make his intentions known to me.
All right. Thank you, Sergeant.
And you can see that on the top of the thing there is like a very tall spire, and you would imagine that the topmost area would be called the rotunda.
All right. Yeah, so Vors turns Scarto around and goes back to the council.
All right. So you get back there, and as I said, so that no one from the Glorious Reclamation has shown up at all. Like, not even a single squire is in the square. It's just townsfolk and the 4 council members, and all the other named NPCs that Vors has summoned.
So while Thors was out and Nero was kind of calming down the crowd, Iwan's doing her usual thing behind the scenes, and especially as she starts to hear people expressing their discontent, and when they say, ever since he instilled that curfew, we haven't seen him. She's like, yeah, Oppian's, he's terrible. He's always been making his power move, and basically then kind of like finds one of the signs that has the posted curfew and rips it off the wall and basically says, well, if you haven't seen him since he's put this up, then, and she kind of like rips it up, like maybe this will get his attention and get his ass out here. So she's like trying to like rally them with it.
Sure. Toss me a diplomacy check too, you little pink-haired fire starter.
Pink-haired halfling.
You got a real weird hair for a halfling.
Oof.
Yeah, so you don't do a really good job inciting people, but there are enough people who are angry that you do get some of them, like some of the people who are already on your side. They kind of begin echoing your thing, but it doesn't start the sort of the wave or of the surge of anger that you were hoping for. But you do find some sympathetic ears. So the other council members look mostly to you, Nero. Seems like you're running the show. And they basically look and say, what would you like to do? I don't think he's coming.
I move that we call. He says that he stands up and he says in a loud voice, "It doesn't seem that Oppian's coming. I move that we start the meeting in his absence."
The other council members they all look at each other for a moment, and Jana is the first one to speak up and says, I second. There's enough of us here to reach a quorum if we're in unison, and we can always rely on the people if we need a fifth voice. And the other council members kind of nod reluctantly, but it seems like they all agree. And the crowd begins to calm down, but not a whole lot.
So Nero will launch into a speech about how he had gone to broker a peace and had successfully brokered a peace with the loyalists, and that this town is finally going to be at peace. When there was an attack over the truce, I'd like the scribe who was describing the condition of the so-called rebels, your neighbors and your neighbors and fellow Cantarians. I'd like him to read it. I feel like I'll paint it in an unflattering light. Is that acceptable?
And you're asking the crowd, or asking who specifically?
I'm asking the crowd and the council members.
So the crowd is mostly disorganized. Like they don't directly answer your question. There's still some people shouting that this isn't fair, that the Glorious Reclamation should be represented in a council meeting. They're not even sure they agree with what's going on here. But enough of them are supportive of that. The meeting should continue. So some people are saying yes, let's hear what the sage has to say. And Loredana, she nods and she gestures towards the sage to come on stage. Sage to come on stage. And recount what happened. She's like, I for one am eager to hear exactly what happened. And Anselm does get up on the stage, and same token art as Jana, which is awkward. But yeah, so he does get up on stage, and he begins recounting the tale as we discussed. So things have been tinged in such a way that the Glorious Reclamation does seem to be violent. There are violent aggressors that were sent here in opposition to what the town council decided 2 days before or so. Basically saying we were going to negotiate a peace. This was all set to happen, and they came and just without parlaying, without even opening any communication at all, decided to violently attack the people at this camp. The people, the Cantarians at the camp. He is sure to mention these aren't just rebels from an outside place. These are people, your friends, your brothers and sisters, from Cantaria that were forced out of their homes. And forced to live in the woods and just doing what they think is right. And in spite of this, in spite of everything, Nero and his allies, he gestures towards all of you out in the crowd, all of the player characters. He says, Nero and his allies did all this work to negotiate this truce with these people, to bring them back into town, to start something, start the healing. Oppian sent a force there specifically to crush them, specifically to murder these people. so that they, so that his rule would be unquestioned, that he would be seen as, as solidifying the town under one rule. And he lists everything that happened, including that there was an angel and that Cassiel had died. And the crowd gets actually quiet for like the first time. All the rabble kind of gets quiet as he recounts the numbers that have died. He kind of like bullet points, like this many sergeants were there, this many militia people were there, and he does mention that Cassiel died, and the crowd gets hushed for a minute as Cassiel, the angel that they only met like 3 days ago, has been slain. And you can hear just murmuring in the crowd. And Iwin and Vors, and I guess Bob too, give me perception checks to see if you hear any particular murmurings in the crowd. Yeah, Vors. Okay. Vors, you hear some actual Glorious Reclamation loyalists who are shocked and appalled that an angel was killed. The sage has left out the details of exactly who killed it and what happened to the angel afterwards, but they're shocked and appalled. Like what are these loyalists doing? Like they killed an angel. If they were there for peace, like why couldn't they take the angel alive? Like what are they trying to do? What kind of world are they trying to build? So you've actually identified a small cache of loyalists. Iwin and Bob, you didn't find any of those people, but you do hear a lot of Thrune supporters that are actively supportive of the fact that an angel has been killed. That a servant of Iomedae that Oppian has sent on this foolhardy mission was slain, violating the will of this council. That was a good thing that happened. That is a fortuitous thing of portents to come for House Thrune. Yeah, so it's mostly it's a mixed bag, but most people seem supportive of the fact, but everybody is shocked that an angel was killed, because angels, they're serious business. And these loyalists in the woods that Oppian has been making out to be like a ragtag bunch of terrorists, like they slayed an angel. What's his name? Anselm does say that again. He lists everybody who died, that there were 20 casualties on the Glorious Reclamation side, including sergeants and the Sixth Sword Knight Ramgadar. That 4 people had survived, and he lists their names. I don't have them prepared, but he lists their names. And he says that only one of the loyalists fell in the combat. That, Iomedae's, might makes right, the glory the good gets sifted out through the glory, and all of them were slain. Like, almost across the board, they were all slain. But then he does gesture to the 4 that had survived. And I assume you brought them here, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so he gestures to them as if inviting them onto the stage. And did you want to say anything about them, Nero?
No, not in particular.
Okay. So Anselm looks to you for a moment, and then, as seeing that you don't have much to say, he gestures and says, like, these 4 were taken alive, and and we're hoping, or they were hoping that we can begin the healing process, and just kind of gestures to the 4, and the 4 don't have a whole lot to say either, but they just nod in agreement. And the sergeant, the highest ranking, there was one. Oh no, there wasn't. Was there? There was a squire. The only actual Glorious Reclamation troop, the one that's actually in the order, nods and says, everything that the squire has recounted is true. We were following orders from Oppian, and Cassiel was there, and this is the way it went down. They're just kind of confirming, and he's very downtrodden and looking at the floor a lot, but he does confirm everything the scribe has said. And everybody seems shocked.
You're good.
Good.
You're a good soldier. You did what you were told. You were assuming that your commanding officer was acting in goodwill. He's not. This is how wars start. This is not how wars are supposed to end.
And he shakes his head. And he just says, like, we thought this was the right thing to do. We were told that this would end the war. This would solidify Cantaria as the Iomedaean capital of a new Cheliax. This was the last step.
And now they're under martial law here. They're arresting people in the night. I mean, does that sound like a free Cantaria to you? That sounds to me like under the worst days of Thrune.
And he shakes his head and says, "That doesn't sound like a free Kansari to me." And he looks very dejected, as if like he realizes what has happened now in his absence.
I'd like to petition the council. I move that none of these men face criminal charges if they assist in our investigation into what happened.
You calling for an official vote?
If yeah.
Jana very quickly seconds. She agrees with you completely, and she makes as much known. She says, she thanks the scribe for everything he said, and he says, if these people are willing to confirm the stories and help us in our investigation, then I agree with Nero. I believe that none of these people should be charged for the acts they had committed. And then Loredana smirks and says, or attempted to commit.
Savage. Cold-blooded.
Yeah, so Loredana votes yes, and Jana votes yes. Presumably Nero votes yes, and Linton will also vote yes. So they all agree. It's unanimous with the people there, and that's enough. Even though there are 2 empty seats, even without involving the people, that is more than enough to carry the motion. And you can hear again some murmuring from the Glorious Reclamation supporters, like this is crazy. We didn't even hear the voice of anyone from the Glorious Reclamation other than that squire. But they're few and far between. There's definitely some murmuring, and Vors is keeping an eye on exactly who is saying what. but you can tell that there's a little bit of resistance, but not a whole lot. The most of the town seems on board with what you've done.
Vors would speak up to Nero and let him know, or I guess basically tell him that Oppian didn't had his chance. He was notified of the meeting and chose not to join. After hearing that rambling.
Fair enough. That's a very good point. Make another diplomacy check, Mr. Vors. Are you shouting that, or are you just kind of disseminating that in the crowd?
He wants Nero to bring it up if he has.
Nero's on a raised stage, and you're in the crowd. So how would you get that?
Yeah.
To him?
I guess yeah. I would just wait. I would start disseminating it in the crowd.
All right. So toss me a diplomacy check. That is good. Yeah. So you managed to get that out a little bit to tell people about what's going on. And yeah, that's entirely true. Basically, you offered twice. You went to him twice and told him to come, and he refused. So that is slowly disseminating through the crowd, and their murmuring dies down a little bit at that fact. So everyone has agreed that everyone has basically agreed that these 4 people should not be tried for any crimes. They were just following orders. They were doing what they thought was right. Even though it does seem like they should have known they were in violation of an order. Maybe the word of the decision hadn't reached them in time. No one knows exactly what happened, but they're all agreeing it's okay. And so Loredana asks, "What do we do now then? How do we carry out this investigation?"
Nero will start to lay out maybe legal precedent that this is how you can carry it. This is how we used to carry out investigations. This is what we should do. In the meantime, with Calcyra not here and Oppian seemingly gone mad, I think we have to suspend them and put replacements on the council. How will we get anything done otherwise?
Loredana looks up. Is there precedent for that?
This is a 2-month-old experiment. I don't know that there's going to be precedent for much. But is there anyone here who doesn't think that that Oppian was in violation of the truce, in violation of the law?
There's more murmuring at that, but the council members all agree that he was certainly in violation of the council's decision. And Linton is the first one to bring up the idea of a vote of no confidence in Oppian. Certainly he could be removed as governor. I'm not sure if that removes him from the council as well, but perhaps it should. And the other council members just kind of look at each other while the murmuring in the crowd continues.
What is Voris here in the crowd?
At the mention of the vote of no confidence, you can hear a lot of people. The Thrune supporters seem to be agreeing with this. Like, he's not fit to rule. All these things you've been bringing up. He does seem crazy. He's been paranoid recently. He hasn't been seen in town in over 2 days. So it does seem like that people are generally supportive of the idea of a vote of no confidence. But, you do still have those loyalists that have kind of gotten quieter and quieter as you've been bringing up points and kind of noticing them more and more. But a lot of them are rather angry that no one from the Glorious Reclamation is here to defend against these charges yet. But generally you have support in the crowd.
I do want to make it clear that I want to get represented. I want to speak to somebody in the Glorious Reclamation. I have a rapport with Phaedrith Zane. Maybe I can talk some sense to him. He's a sensible man.
The others look around.
This is not what the Glorious Reclamation is about. This is not what Iomade is about.
Yeah, and the majority of the crowd, even the Glorious Reclamation supporters, do seem to agree with that. Like, something has gone wrong here. This is not what the revolution was supposed to be about. And now seeing the loyalists and the militia volunteers and everybody who were like seeing them side by side on the stage, people are saying this is what's supposed to happen. We're supposed to be bringing these people on. We're supposed to be bringing Cantaria together again. And you've convinced most of the people, and the other town council members see that the tide is going that way. And Linton looks to you, Nero, as if like, are we doing this? Are we voting on a vote of no confidence? Or are you waiting for more
I second the
information?
vote.
Okay.
I second the vote.
All right. So Loredana and Jana both look at each other a bit uncomfortable, but they're also feeling out the room, and they kind of agree that this is what was going to happen. This is where things were leading. So Linton, since he called the vote, he votes first, and he votes. I vote yes. I do not have confidence in Appian Nevelindor and his competency to govern. And you seconded Nero, so what do you say?
I vote no confidence.
Okay. Loredana votes no confidence, and Jana, she holds out the longest. She pauses for a moment. She's looking at the crowd, and the crowd has gone quiet as if waiting to see what happens. And she just sighs heavily and says, no confidence. And that's it. Linton pauses for a moment before standing and saying that's it then. That's 4 votes. That's quorum. And the Council of Cantaria has decided that Appia Nevelindor is not fit to govern and shall be removed as governor of Cantaria effective immediately. And there's no precedent at this point, so they're all kind of confused as to like Linton looks at you. How should we select another governor? Should we wait for more evidence, or where do we go from here? Does the council rule in his stead?
I think that for now, we work as a succession team. We find an appropriate person to be governor, and in the meantime, thanks, baby. In the meantime, we govern in its stead, and we repopulate this council.
Okay. Linton nods, and he says, I second if that's required. And the other ones just nod in assent. They don't even like debate. They just kind of nod like that sounds like the correct course of action.
I want to make it clear at this point, I do not want to be the governor of Cantaria. I think that somebody from Cantaria must be the governor. Even if you were all to tell me that I should be the governor, I don't want to be the governor. I want that to be clear. And I want that to be known in the meeting.
The people seem to like that. They seem to react to that very favorably, that you're not just trying to seize the town for yourself, that all your diplomatic wheelings and dealings haven't been just to assert your dominance over the town. And they seem very happy that you would say that you would want someone from Cantaria to rule the town. So a lot of the people are on your side about that. They seem just favorable in general. And Linton and Jana both nod at you as if that seems like the correct thing to do. And Linton says, like, in the meanwhile, we shall make all decisions here in the council. We shall hold regular daily meetings, to decide whatever must be decided. But what is to be done with the investigation then? How do we proceed with the glorious reclamation and the closed up fastness?
I think we speak to these four. I think we try and get someone from the reclamation to talk to us and see if we can't get something. Right? I'm.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like Linton seems genuinely out of his element here. He's not sure where we should go from here. But Jana says someone has to answer for all the things that have been happening here. Someone has to answer for the assault on the loyalists, and she stutters over her words as if saying loyalist is the wrong word. It's like a tainted word. The Glorious Reclamation used that word to make them different, to make them other, so she kind of stumbles over it, like the loyalists. It's just the word that makes the most sense to use to her. Someone has to answer for the assault on the loyalists, for the curfew, for all the arrests. And when she says the arrest, a bunch of the halflings perk up because Perko has been arrested, as far as they're aware, and they begin to just rabble about the fact that some of their own have gone missing. And Vors can easily hear some of them are equating the Glorious Reclamation to the slavers that would take their friends in the night. It seems like it's happening again, and now people are doing it behind the guise of a church, and they're very, very angry. And Mytrop was able to get a bunch of his halfling friends together, and they make up a sizable portion of the people in the audience. And they're all very angry about the arrests that have been going on.
Are we all in agreement that the curfew is not legal and has to end?
Jana immediately says, yes, certainly, of course, it's absurd. And Linton seems surprised about how vociferous she was with that, how quickly and how intense she was in her answer. And he says, I see no need for such a curfew. I don't know what they're trying to protect against. And Loredana just subtly nods her head in agreement.
All right, then the curfew is off immediately.
And Loredana asks, and what do we do if the Glorious Reclamation thugs attempt to arrest people at night?
I think we treat them the way we treat thugs.
And she nods and does her best to hide a smirk. And she does very well hiding that smirk. So Nero, you see a little inch of it, and then she manages to hide her smirk.
I don't want any bloodshed any more than any of you do. But we can't allow people to be taken in a night like this.
Yeah, everybody agrees, and when you mention the lack of bloodshed, Jana is, again, very supportive of your decision. She says, like as you said, Nero, this is not how it was supposed to be. This is not how the revolution was supposed to take place. Something has gone wrong. Something is rotting from within, and we have to do what's right for our town, for Cantaria.
I'll see if we can't work with Zane. Should we appoint 2 people to the council? Assuming Oppie won't come.
Loredana agrees with that. What's his name? Linton is a little... He's a little reluctant, but he also agrees. And Jana, seeing the other 2, basically she's just going with the flow at this point, because she sees that, we have momentum as this 4. So she says, sure, certainly. Who do we hold an election? How are we picking these people?
Well, we once asked people to petition for themselves to be a part of the council. Maybe we do that again.
And Loredana nods and says that sounds fair. And she looks out to the crowd, seeing who's in attendance. And it's not as populated of a meeting as the other ones. Some people are still hanging out in their homes. But all of the NPCs that you've contacted have shown up. You've talked them on to coming. And Mytrop very, very quickly stands up on a little soapbox to be almost human height, and he shouts above the crowd that he, again, it's time halflings had a voice. You can't deny us now. This has gone on long enough. And he's just shouting that he's a very charismatic person, and he's basically he's making a point, and he has a lot of halflings in attendance. Excuse
What's
me,
the population of the town, like halfling percentage?
No, hold on. Let me see if I can find that.
I'm just curious. 20%, 10%.
Let's see. There are 1,200 people in town, and 97 are halflings. So less than
So less than 10%.
yeah, less than 10%.
Okay.
But they are the biggest minority, more than dwarves. There's tieflings in town. When the frig did they tell me that?
There's one tiefling, at least one
Yes, correct.
Well,
There's a tiefling war priest in the fastness that you heard tell of, but it says there's 18 of them in town, which is surprising. Anyway, yeah, so they're the biggest minority, but like Cantaria as Cheliax is mostly humans.
Okay.
But he makes his voice known. He makes it like I want to run for office, and there's a lot of support from the crowd because a lot of halflings have shown up. And Jana especially, recognizes my trop, and she calls him out and says, "You're right. For far too long, your people have been treated like chattel in this town, and even after the reclamation freed you all, how much better have your lives been for the effort?" And my trop is agreeing with her, and so my trop is officially on the ballot. Durgal is reluctant. He hasn't spoken up. And I don't think Jonas wants a public position like that. I don't think he's not going for it either. So I think that's most of the notable NPCs in town. Are you going to force it upon anybody, or are you going to call out Durgal?
So how about this? Behind the scenes, Ivan will kind of be like looking around and being like, "Oh, that scribe actually did a really good job with this briefing. Like, having somebody like that on the council could be really good. Like, he's a good note keeper. He seems pretty unbiased. Like, that would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it?" And just like, prodding people along those lines to see if she can encourage somebody to make the suggestion.
All right, go ahead. Toss me a diplomacy check. See if you prod the right people the right way.
Sure.
you want to get that LGBT vote.
Exactly. You want to get full representation. Let's see if I do better this time.
Yeah. Yeah, so you do, and people agree with you. Like, that was a very unbiased opinion. He told the facts exactly as they needed to be told, and they agree with you. So yeah, so a bunch of people begin calling out Anselm's name, and Anselm is reluctant, so he gets back on the stage after getting back down after telling the story, and he says, if the people would have me, then I suppose I could sit on the council. So yeah, he throws his hat into the ring, and nobody else seems to. So it's just those two people. And Jana asks, do we even need to have a vote then, if this is it?
I think they're both suitable candidates.
Okay. Yeah, so Loredana agrees, and Linton just shrugs because he doesn't really care. And there you go. So now you have a full council of 6. And most of the people in the crowd cheer. There are still some rumblings of people that are angry that it seems like the Glorious Reclamation has been left out in the cold. Like, they have no representation on the council now. They had no representation in this meeting. And a lot of people, not a lot, but a small number of people feel rubbed the wrong way about that. But the majority of the town seems to be on your side, and the entirety of the council seems to be on your side. All right, it's almost 5. Anything else you guys want to do while we wrap up?
Storm the fastness.
Next session. It seems like you're getting there.
You'll just make a speech about like the lawlessness in town, how this has to stop. The law is something we respect, and we're not going to flout the law anymore. And then just prepare for the night and prepare for probably stopping reclamation thugs.
All right. I'm going to make a note. Prepare to stop reclamation thugs.
And contact Zane somehow.
All right. Anybody else want to do anything before we call it?
I think Iwan would just try to suggest, like, this town, especially now with the Glorious Reclamation being holed up, needs a different way of keeping itself safe. and especially with their patrols going around at night, potentially enforcing what they think used to be the law. Like, do we need to set up our own patrols now?
You want to get like your own
We-
militia going?
I mean, she's raising the question to the larger group.
If you're near any halflings, the halflings seem very much on board with that, especially because you, as a small person, you kind of relate to them. But you can hear that they've already kind of been talking about that. Like after the pickup of Perko and the other people who were with him, they still don't even know if he was arrested. That hasn't been made public yet. But they agree that they're all going to travel in large groups and that they do plan to be armed. You know, especially if they're traveling at night. Like this is absurd that this is happening to them, and they can't trust anybody anymore. Even the people that have freed them are putting them in chains again, and this will not stand anymore. So you do find there are a lot of halflings in town that are all for that sort of militia, and a bunch of the humans are as well. Basically, saying if they're going to try to, like Nero made a good point, like you're going to treat them like thugs. If they're going to act like thugs, we're going to treat them like thugs. So you do find a lot of sympathetic ears in terms of forming some sort of local militia or at least resistance to the patrols at night.
Okay.
All right, Vors will speak up and say, shouldn't we notify people in the fastness of the decisions of the council?
Yeah, I'll go try to talk to Zane. He might actually see me.
Okay. The other council members agree that they should at least be, what was done here should be made known to them. And the scribe volunteers to record everything in a nice document for you to present.
That'd be lovely.
One other thing before we wrap up, did we like make the case with the council and the group that about the bodies and like where they should be buried? Because that's probably business we would want to present to the group, right?
Sure. Nero will bring it up, and these men died in battle, misguided though they might be.
Mhm.
They died in battle. They deserve to be buried with honor in the fastness.
And although no one from the Glorious Reclamation is around or in the council, or there's not even any in the crowd really, they all agree. Everybody up there, even Loredana and Linton, they all agree that if they died in service to Iomedae, even if the orders were not sound, they should be buried in the fastness. You are correct. And the people seem supportive of that decision.
Okay. So we'll work on that as well.
Okay. Alright. Anything else? Alright, I'm going to stop the recording.